Yeah.
We are not alone.
We are live. Apparently.
Right.
It's not showing up in my YouTube studio. Now it is. All right. All right. So, thanks everyone for coming to watch. We're going to start in just a couple of minutes. Usually, as I say at the beginning of all these episodes, when we hit the live button, people who might have signed up for this will get an alert, or people who are subscribed to the channel will get an alert that we're going live. So usually people start coming in within the first couple of minutes. So we'll give it a couple of minutes for people to roll in, and then we'll launch into it. I'm tempted to start talking about it, but I will wait. I don't have a beer, but I will get one. I'm very jealous of Rasmus right now, so I'll get one at the interlude.
I've got lime juice.
Hey, Eric.
In my tea. Hi, Eric.
Thanks for popping in live. Oh, first time live person. That's good.
Oh, that's great.
Good to have you. Welcome here.
Welcome.
Yeah, so don't forget if I do lose track of time slightly, I'm aiming for like the 1.5 hour mark roughly to have a comfort break. So toilets and drinks and whatever we need to do.
My
so just,
body will remind you.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm usually quite good with keeping track of these things, but sometimes, yeah, I feel like today I'm a little bit. I'm gonna have a lot of things juggling because this is very low prep today.
Sounds grand.
Yeah, so I might be thinking like doing a lot of thinking and not paying as much attention to the time as I usually do. So, yeah.
Oh, that's dedicated, Eric. Catching up until today. Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours.
We got binge.
Yeah.
And how long have we been streaming for so far? I need to see that quickly.
A few minutes. I kind of. They're my cards.
Yeah. I don't have my Joker.
It's gone.
Yeah.
You spent it.
Was fun though.
Ah, thank you.
It was.
Thank you, Eric.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll kick off now, if that's all right. Do you want to say something,
right.
Jakob, before I do?
Totally.
No, I just wanted to everything's fine. Just wanted to tell an anecdote.
Yeah, go ahead if you want to.
No, it's not. I flooded my dice tray last time, and now I can't use my aces in a regular deck anymore because they are marked. That's it.
Oh, that's a problem.
Well.
I'll remember that. I have expensive playing cards as well.
Yeah, nah, those were a gift for Secret Santa. So like Schrottwichteln, we call it in Germany, and I got like 4 decks of those cards. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So this session we're going to be doing something a little bit different. The previous sessions that we've done to date have all been like published adventures, to use that term. I guess to date we've only done 2 sessions from the book, but session 1 was a very scripted, pretty traditional, like 6-page, scene by scene, all the things that happen, all the tests that are required, fairly linear in terms of what things that happen. The second one I was going with what the book had on a 1-page outline for a possible session, and I have prepped the next session like that, going with the Saga, but it takes place 3 months into the future from the last episode, and we had a little bit of a discussion after the last session, last time we played 4 weeks ago now, and basically there was a desire to maybe not go at such a fast pace trying to get through the published material, and to have a bit of a breather and allow the characters time to roleplay. essentially. Get to know each other, have the player characters get to know each other a little bit better. And yeah, it just feels like, if we're going to do it again, we're jumping 3 months ahead again. And then it's going to be like, oh, what were the three of you doing after these events that happened? It is kind of like, it does feel like there's no time, and you're almost forced to come up with individual plans on your own about what you'd be doing rather than potentially doing stuff together. So we're going to do something unscripted in terms of the published Saga campaign, and we're going to run an urban sandbox session, which just basically means you three are going to be hanging out in Chesterfield, and there will be things happening in and around you, but for the most part, this is an opportunity for the three of you to roleplay amongst yourselves, and for me to react to that and to potentially throw things at you every now and again. As a result, this isn't campaign important, well, not necessarily campaign important stuff. I might bring stuff back later on if it makes sense. But as a result of that, I'm not pulling into play the terrible things that Litha and Santiago are still suffering from. So I haven't rolled those. They're not going to come into play here, because this is basically, if you think of it like this is the second half of our last session. This is kind of like the downtime, the aftermath of what happened. So we're kind of going to pick up maybe a day or two after the events of the last session. We'll call it a couple of days, actually, a couple of days after that last session, because I think it makes sense for certainly some of you to be lying low. And and maybe not going around boozing as maybe you normally would, Santiago.
No.
No.
And yeah, that's basically my starting pitch for this session. And we're going to start with having a little bit of a vignette, a little spotlight scene for each of you. And basically just to kind of talk about what you've done in the last couple of days since the events of the last session. And just as a reminder for those of you who are here live and haven't watched since we had that session 4 months ago, it essentially boiled down to two big things that happened. There was a big bust-up fight, fisticuffs, in a bar with a bunch of university students. And then there was a prison or a jailbreak where the three of you conspired with two of these university hoodlums to break a slua named Federico out of the jail in Chesterfield. And which you were very successful at. And just as a reminder, because I didn't get a chance to listen back to the full episode, I didn't quite make it to the end. Did Litha and were Litha and Santiago seen when they snuck in by any of the sheriff's agents?
No.
No.
Nope.
And we had very discreet handkerchiefs over our faces.
Right.
And Santiago even had for like success, like he's got even experience like the ghost of Chesterfield or the ghost below the sofa or something like that.
Yeah, because of sneaking in, because sneaking in really quietly. But
Yeah.
you went down. I remember you went down the stairs behind Humphrey, and you didn't knock the guy out. You locked him up, didn't you? So he was still kind of awake. So I wasn't in my head. I wasn't quite sure if he'd actually seen the two of you.
Probably.
Yeah, I think he saw us at least.
I know.
Because,
He saw definitely
But-
might have seen Santiago, but I hung back because I'm basically a sniper, so I stayed upstairs and was just
Okay.
checking the parameters. So he might have seen my silhouette and heard my voice at one point.
I think probably not.
Um,
He was probably more focused on the immediate threat of getting stabbed by Santiago, I would imagine.
Probably.
It was being menacing. Okay, that's good. I just needed to remember if if there might be some wanted posters up around town.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, there are lots of slua here, right? That's not
Have
gonna
you
be a
seen
problem.
this slua? Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So that's all I needed to ask. So we're gonna start with Carmen, with you, with Litha. So why don't you let's cut the camera across to you. Why don't you set the scene, tell us what's happening, and just let us know kind of what you've been up to for the last few days.
She would have definitely gotten into a room that she could close off for herself because wanting to lay low is important to her. So she might have rented a room for herself where she put up also continuously checking at Snotty at the stable, which is our mouse. And yeah. So she was kind of treading carefully around, maybe more being a bit hooded, being a bit more cloaked, because the shock of red hair is kind of distinguishable. And she's a bit skittish and paranoid about this, even though she's kind of sure no one really recognized her. But, it's kind of, I think it's the first time for her doing things like that. It's away from her normal business.
Yeah. Okay. And for our listeners, obviously we were part of the discussion in Discord about the name of the mouse. Why is the mouse? Why have you named the mouse Snotty?
Yeah, well, Lisa had kind of a hard time the last few months, as terrible things had happened to her, and she lost like every job she applied to. She was demoted to scrubbing toilets, and because she was trying to hold on to her money, she was sleeping at the stable with the mice. And because no one was there, she was crying a little. She was really down. It wasn't a little, so she was kind of clinging to the mouse for comfort and wiping snot and tears into her fur. When she felt like her mouse had enough, she turned to the other one and did the same. So secretly named them Snotty and Salty, and it kind of stuck.
Yeah, at least for Letha, it's stuck.
Yeah.
Now, Snotty was the property of the two fairies in the first session that ended up being kind of terrorists and died. So you took Snotty with you to Chesterfield, and you don't know exactly. None of you are animal handlers, so maybe you're a little bit fuzzy on the laws, especially maybe in the realm, which is where the fairies are from, in terms of property rights for what is effectively a horse, right? In the equivalent in this this setting. But nobody's come looking for Snotty. You've been hanging out with Snotty pretty much every day. You were sleeping in the stables with Snotty. So if somebody would have come looking or wanted to put a claim in for a mouse, for this particular mouse, then you would have known about it pretty instantly. And as far as you're aware, nothing's happened, and it's been months. So yeah.
Quick question. When we left Walford, we went through the city gates, and we know that like papers and stuff are a thing because I had to hide Gustav's saber, I think it was, or half scissor, I don't know anymore, because he didn't have the right papers. So did I see, because I led the mouse at this point, did I see that he had to produce any kind of official documents that the mouse belongs to Gustav? Or all right, so.
No. And when you entered Chesterfield, the mouse was laden like a pack mouse, basically. And nobody really questioned that. You had a bunch of booty that you were bringing in. That was more of they're more interested in the kind of the loot you were bringing back than they were in the mouse. And you certainly don't have any papers for the mouse. You didn't have to show any when you left Walford. So as far as you're aware, maybe that's different in some of the different areas, the different rooms of the house. I don't know if any of you've ever been to the realm, which is where like the fairies are in control.
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't think it would make much sense necessarily. Santiago almost certainly hasn't been there. I imagine Santiago is,
in some of his stories maybe, but not for real.
Sure. You were living large down in the basement, and then you came up, and have pretty much been hanging around in the hearth since. So that's how I've perceived it. I mean, I'm sure you want to see every room in the house just to make sure that everyone knows who you are, of course. But you're not quite done here yet, right? Okay, so that's what Lith has been up to, and hanging out with Snotty, and laying low. I will say, because it has been a few days, you have popped out every now and again from your room and maybe had a discreet little walk around town. Maybe in the sort of like the dawn and dusk hours when it's not very crowded, or maybe alternatively when it is crowded and you can blend in a bit more. I don't know, but you have looked around, and you've not seen any like wanted signs with your face on them, but you have seen a wanted sign, fresh wanted signs dotted around with a slua on them.
Oh, I
So
would have looked at it and how exact the description would be.
Well, let's cut over to Santiago, because Santiago, how accurate do you think this drawing, this likeness of you is, judging by the fact that they only saw your eyes and your tricorn hat? The tricorn hat is actually in the drawing. So are you wearing that still?
Oh, no. I've lost that recently. I don't know where.
Okay.
It's in up by the barn where I've been sleeping. I've been sleeping at least 2 nights in a stable upstairs in all the hay or stuff, something like that.
Okay.
And I've also been sneaking out, but not the first day or 2, but perhaps the 3rd when I got really, really hungry.
Yeah. So I mean, going back to this drawing of you on the wanted sign, do we want to go with it? I'm kind of leaving this up to you to kind of to determine. Do you want to go with it being a fairly good likeness, or do you want it to be kind of more like they've turned you into like a very evil looking slua, because that's what slua are? They would have known for sure that you were a slua because the skin color is very different. It's kind of I mean, from the art, I imagine you're kind of this grayish green sort of skin color, which isn't boggartish at all.
Grayish green is also said on the character sheet.
Right.
I think I put some fear into the guard. I was kind of brash and harsh with him, so he might have been exaggerating stuff. But Santiago still didn't really hide himself more than the handkerchief. So I'm guessing he could be identified by someone who really wanted to, I guess.
I guess the other thing to consider is that there aren't actually a huge amount of slua in Chesterfield as well. There will be some. So it is possible that you would just be stopped, like racial profiling, basically, right? They're looking for a slua. You happen to be a slua. If some guards see you, there's a chance they might stop you. But if they hold the wanted sign up next to your face, who knows? Okay. Jakob,
Maybe as a gag they could get, I don't know, your mouth or your beard completely wrong. Like,
well, he had a mask on, right?
Yeah, exactly. So they knew the eyes and the head and maybe the ears. But if they always get the nose wrong, or the chin, like a super grubby, completely out of character chin,
I've got young kids, like so immediately there's a Disney film popping into my head, which is Tangled.
Yeah, I thought of that as well. Yeah,
where they've got the wanted picture with. Yeah, they got his nose wrong. Yep.
Always get.
And you could also mix them up a little bit with Federico, right?
Oh yeah,
there was two sluas in one scene.
Right.
That's they definitely know what Federico looks like. In fact, there's probably both of you on the same wanted sign.
Oh yeah, okay, of course.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. That's definitely the case. They think this was like a slua breaking a slua out. You're definitely part of Duncan Rox's gang, and it's going to say that on the wanted sign as well.
Okay.
Wanted in connection with the notorious bandit Duncan Rox. These two slua, a generous reward for any information as to their whereabouts, blah blah blah, that sort of thing. There might be bounty hunters around.
Oh yeah, cool.
I know what you're saying. Sorry.
Humphrey.
Because Humphrey's looking for a new job right now. So
Well,
Well,
I think
yeah.
Siljo is not gonna lay low very long because he's impatient. So 2 days maximum, and then he'll out about again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's say you've had a day of since you were fed up. So you laid low for maybe like 2 days. And then you were like, that's enough time. They're not looking for me anymore.
Exactly.
I'm so thirsty.
Exactly. And I needed a new hat.
I need a new hat. Yeah. Okay. So that works for me. So you're kind of out and about a bit more. Yeah, but still sticking to the kind of the rougher parts of town where the the guard maybe doesn't. They might go on patrol, but they kind of don't linger too long there. Even though, yeah. Anyway.
Exactly, and staying to the times of day where it's not very crowded, or being indoors during crowded periods.
Okay, let me ask you a question. The pub you were staying at initially was the Three Spiders. Did you go back there, or are you going back to a different place?
They know me there, and they know the hat, so I think he's smart enough to go back to a different place.
Okay.
Checking that.
All
Academia.
right.
No, not really.
Okay. What kind of an establishment are you looking for? Are you not picky, or are you gonna be a bit more like, yeah?
He's not picky. He wants something that will not break his bank, and
Okay.
and being low key.
There's a working class, like a working man's pub, as we would say in the UK, called the Fountain. And this is an Undine pub. Undines are the sprites who are connected to water, so they have very bluish skin and they can kind of absorb water. They tend to be a bit more of the kind of working class folk. They do a lot of like manual jobs that need doing with repairing pipes and things like that. So the drinks aren't very expensive in there compared to other places potentially, and you feel probably it's not the Three Spiders. You really enjoyed it in the Three Spiders. It was run by a Slua as well, so you kind of felt maybe there was a little bit of but you're not taking any risks. That's good.
Nope, not at the moment. Perhaps tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So that's you. So we're gonna the scene is cutting away from you as you're finally enjoying a pint of something. A slight salty. There's a slight salty tinge to this beer. It's not bad though. It's not bad. It's just different. And we cut over to Humphrey. Now, I need to give a little bit of an update to what's happened with the sheriff to Humphrey, because Humphrey, you've got a connection there. There was a bit of unhappiness from the authorities about the events that transpired, that there was a jailbreak that quite clearly was orchestrated around a fire as the distraction. And because the sheriff was not on duty when this happened, he has been given the sack and exiled from Chesterfield in disgrace. So
I am looking for a new job, by the way.
However, a replacement has very quickly been found for him, and the new sheriff is basically a villain. He's bad news. And you actually were brought in, let's say a day ago, and grilled by this new sheriff about your involvement in the jailbreak. We don't need to role play that. I'm happy for it to be the case that they aren't throwing you in a cell. But the new guy is an asshole, and he basically was like, I'm keeping my eye on you. You to put one foot out of line, and I'll have you in the lockup before you can squeak, or something along those lines.
All right. I would have a yeah, weighs a part present from for Jim, the big one of the students of the union with the red sash. I would have yeah asked him to give me a blue eye. Like I was the hostage during this jailbreak, and the others two took me with them. And after a while, circling around the streets, I just asked them, "Come on, big lad, finish what you started," and just hold my face, all nice and easy.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
blue eye probably.
Yeah, that definitely, we talked about that, I think, in the last session as well. That definitely helped sell the lie that you weren't involved.
Yeah.
But this new sheriff has no interest in, he's absolved you of, like, you were kind of, it was kind of like you were doing, like a social, what's it called when you're...
Community service.
That's the
Community service.
You were
For
kind
the-
of doing
for the-
community service for the kind of smuggling that they kind of accused you of.
Yeah.
That's now, you're now absolved of that. The new sheriff doesn't really trust you. He doesn't want you hanging around the sheriff's office. So he's basically just said, like, keep your nose clean. We're keeping an eye on you, and you're no longer. You're no longer a kind of a part-time sheriff.
That's good. You remember the other guard that was locked in by Santiago and Letha, and if you remember the last session, Humphrey snuck a bottle of brandy into the cell of Federico when he started talking to him, and when the other two locked the guard, I think Winfrey was his name or something like that, locked him in the cell and made Humphrey open the cell of Federico. Humphrey very loudly commented the prisoner having booze in there and a bottle, and kind of blamed this on the poor prison guard. And I don't know how much of an asshole is Winfrey. I mean, he was kind of racist against Santiago.
Winfrey was the guard?
Yeah, I just gave him a name
during
the interaction. Yeah,
I'm trying to be better with my notes digitally now, so I'm going to type that in. I have too many slips of note paper lying around. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Huh. I think no.
Yeah, go on.
I don't think Humphrey feels kind of strongly about this. Even after everything, like Santiago called him his friend during the pub brawl and everything. So he would have ratted on Winfrey in front of the new sheriff. Like, this guy let it slip, and the prisoner had even a goddamn bottle in the cell. Could have killed someone with that.
Okay.
Probably. And
poor Winfrey's been sacked
when
as
the
well.
sheriff, pardon?
Poor Winfrey's been sacked then too. Yep.
Yeah. And when this was when the sheriff questioned me, basically, Humphrey also would have put in his resignation in the same turn, and then get maybe completely like shouted to the ground in the process. So yeah. So
okay.
Winfrey might.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have tried to resign from your post, you would have been torn a new asshole, as we say in English. This was you're here not by your own choice. You'll leave when we tell you can leave. Private.
Yeah. Sure, but we arranged it that the debt was worked off in full at the start of the last session. But
So Winfrey then, okay, he can be he can kind of be an NPC sort of. He hasn't been exiled like the sheriff has, but he has been fired from his job. So there's probably a little bit of there almost certainly is going to be some animosity towards you from him. So you probably want to avoid him if you see him around town. Okay. Oh, so apart from the kind of employment related stuff that's happened, what else has Humphrey been up to the last
Humphrey
day or two?
Is looking for a new job right now, and so since he always was a hunter, has ever been. He would try to, look at the local den, like the hunter's den, the Blue Flame, which is, the most the aspiring dream of every hunter out there in the hearth. And he would, just snuck around it, try to get an ear of what great trophies has been brought in, and especially what is the entry level to what beast do you have to kill to get inside the den? Because he is looking for money and a job, and he knows it's not like his great dream to become a hunter of a den anymore, but he knows this is good business to be part of a den. And would have talked to the odd hunter, and stuff like that.
Just showing up on the screen here, the map of Chesterfield, the Blue Flame Den there is at the bottom left, which is this kind of guild hall, I guess, for hunters. Very famous one, as Jakob just said. So when you went into the black, the black, changing the color, the Blue Flame, they do kind of have like I imagine it to be like a hunting lodge, and I've been in one hunting lodge in my life, so it's gonna be a bit like that one that I'm familiar with. You walk in, and there's like a big open space at the front where they have like heads mounted on these, like the plaques, all sorts of different beasts that have been captured, and you kind of inquire. They kind of look a little bit at you dismissively because they don't really know who you are. I mean, you're a lone wolf, right? Or lone mouse, I should say. So you're kind of not you're not a braggart. You don't really like show off your kills and stuff. It's more about like, oh, this is gonna be enough coin for me to eat for the next 3 weeks. This is good, rather than I can't wait to take this to the bar and sing about how when you were a lad you ate 6 dozen eggs every morning to help you get large. If you get that Disney reference.
So also I'm the rookie. Like every wannabe hunter is trying to pull me down to make himself look a little bit bigger. So,
for sure. But I mean, you do have a very serious firearm. So they're there's a bit of a grudging, like, you can tell there's a bit of grudging respect, even though they don't show you any respect. Like, who's this hunter? You're clearly like, you're not like a young kid. So they're kind of like, maybe a little bit wary around you, but also a bit rude, if that makes sense. Like you're in their on their turf, they're in the guild, you're not in the guild, and are you like kind of don't where to stand with you. You do quickly find out entrance to their guild is based on bringing a trophy. There is no specific type of trophy; it just has to be an impressive trophy. So it could be any manner of beast, and it's then up to the guild masters to decide. That you would probably imagine that's all they say. You bring a trophy in, and then we can talk. But you would imagine there'd be some sort of like an interview, or you'd be talking to them, and they'd kind of want to question you a bit more. But as it stands now, without a trophy, you don't even have a foot in the door, other than just the entrance hall where they're showing off their, to anyone who wants to come, to the tourists, you can see their impressive trophies. And we could definitely say, like, you've bagged some beasts in your time that are, it would fit definitely on the walls in here. Like, there's some very impressive ones, like way bigger than anything you've hunted, but there's also some that are kind of like, I've shot bigger. Yeah. Okay.
So what would it exactly be? Would a centipede be too big? Well, because like Aletha and Santiago put on a spider, so this would be, I think, an adequate.
That was a small spider. So in the bestiary of the book, to go a bit meta, there are different levels of spider, and the one you faced was a small spider. There are bigger spiders.
A very big small spider.
I mean, it was a big for a littling. It was a big small spider. There are bigger big spiders out there.
Okay, but no bigger small spiders. This is a very important difference to make. So what would be just so I have a reference? What would be a beast that I maybe killed? Would be worthy to bring to the lodge as a trophy.
I mean, anything big. So it could be anything really.
Okay.
Just something that's deadly. So this could be a rat. It could be a big spider. It could be a centipede. There are beetles. Some of the beetles are fairly tough. Maybe not big, but they have like a lot of armor on them, so they're kind of hard to take down. Yeah. So I mean, those are just kind of scratching the surface of things a bit. I don't want to go through the whole bestiary. gotta keep some surprises in my back pocket.
Okay.
But you'll know. In fact, you can ask me if you've killed something, like, oh, is it worth me taking a trophy from this? And then I'll let you know. But you should have you should probably have a good idea of it. If it's been a difficult combat, then it's probably a good enough trophy to bring in. As I said, they're showing off stuff in their lodge that you've definitely taken down bigger prey than than their lowest stuff.
Yeah. Why is a cockroach hanging here? Yeah. So if there is still time between our next meeting, Humphrey would have ventured into the wild for a day or two to look for tracks of beasts and just assess the situation. Like centipede is there out there. We saw one. And
that centipede would have been like one of the biggest things in there if you'd managed to kill it and drag it in. Yeah,
but it would also.
I mean,
you want to do a city adventure, Matt?
That was one of the hardest creatures in the bestiary, and it was more of a set piece than a proper combat. That's why it was kind of like you were fleeing for your life rather than wanting to go toe to toe with it, because you probably would have all died.
Okay. No white whale today. Humphrey would have just ventured out into the wilds for a day, for a night, and looking for tracks of a beast that would
give me a D6 roll, please.
Absolutely.
To see if you found anything.
Or should I make a roll on something?
No, just roll die.
Okay, it's a 5.
Yeah, you found something, and then roll it again to figure out what it is. Let me just quickly do a D6 table here.
I love this. It's a 1.
Oh, it's a rat then. You found some rat tracks.
Oh damn! All right. Good.
Rats tend to be in packs. In your experience, there are lone rats who kind of go around, but I mean, usually when a hunter's being called, it's because there's like a family of rats who are, becoming a problem, and but they are
single rat
rats.
is. Pardon?
There are rats who just kind of looking for food or whatever, kind of scuttering around on their own. And you found with a 1, I would say you found the tracks for a single rat. But they weren't super fresh. They're maybe a couple of days old, and when you found the droppings and kind of maybe.
So I would follow the tracks. Definitely rat.
Oh, not about 2 days. About 2 days old. I've had fresher.
I would follow the tracks for a while, just to look like if there is a water hole or something like that that the rat frequents for its necessities, and where it will return to, basically. Because a rat, just to make it clear, a single rat is already quite a threat to a littling, right? It's not just like,
can be, yeah, can be
the classical wolves attacking your adventurer party in the.
Well, just remember there are a lot of creepy crawlies out and about, and there aren't people who kind of travel between cities without being in a caravan's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. Like there's people don't travel alone unless they're a lone mouse with a big gun. So it's not worth like raising a hue and a cry, like, you know, like there's a tiger outside the village and you got to go hunt it down. It's a single rat's not really a big deal, especially because the tracks are a few days old and it's been going past the city. Kind of, maybe it came kind of close and then it got scared off by something. Yeah.
So do rats travel? So do I have chances to track this rat around Chesterfield here?
Sure, we could say that's what you've been getting up to. So you've not really been hanging around in the city. You've been, you know, stalking a rat.
Okay.
The elusive albino rat.
Yeah.
There she squeaks.
Getting a wooden leg for Humphrey for the next session.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I have prepped for the next session already. So, but yeah, I think a wooden leg might not be a great idea. But anyway, we'll see. Okay, so that's what's been happening. The other thing to probably mention is what Gwen has been getting up to. You obviously got the second half of the map from Federigo, and when you gave it to Gwen, she, being the kind of obsessive type that she already is, has been locked up, to use the term non-literally, in her library, or the university, I suppose, and has been just poring over these two halves of the map. She's made each of you, when you've maybe seen her, actually I guess Santiago hasn't seen her and Litha hasn't either in the time since. We could say Humphrey probably has, because she's probably you probably handed her the map, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, no, actually no, because when I went back after the hostage situation, I gave the map to Letha, because if I get searched and got something with me, I don't want the sheriff to have anything of that. And if I don't have to put up with Gwen, that's fantastic. And I'm out and about in the wilderness now.
You got, remember you went to this place in the slums, which is where Federigo had hidden the map.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't in the cell with him. So he would have given it to whoever. Anyway, it doesn't matter who. Someone gave Gwen the map, and whoever has seen her since has seen that she has already copied the map out into at least one notebook, just in case it goes missing again or gets torn in half again. She's got backups, and she's even if you show the slightest bit of interest in it, she'll start chewing your ear off about this map and how excited she is. It appears to be the tomb of Argo, the bureaucrat. That's what she thinks anyway. But she's not. She can't be sure. She has to decipher. She has to decode the map, because it is a bit cryptic in terms of, like, it's not an actual, like, pirate style treasure map of like, go here, there's like little dotted trail going from there to there. There's like a cipher that has to be decoded, and it's very abstract. So it's going to take her some time, probably around 3 months maybe or so. Roughly, just throwing the number out, just pulling it out of the ether. Yeah, about 3 months to properly crack the cipher and to figure out, where the tomb actually is. So she's basically just doing that. She's forgetting to eat while, until she's so hungry she can't think, she has to go out and eat something. It's typical obsessed with research kind of, if you've seen True Detective season 1, you'll know what I'm talking about. Someone completely laser focused on trying to figure out this mystery. So that's Gwen. And let's have you all coming together somehow. How do you all want to meet up then? I think maybe let's say that Humphrey's trail, not Humphrey's trail, the trail that Humphrey is following doesn't go cold, but it leads out into the wilderness. Like the rat has been kind of been wandering very randomly, haphazardly around Chesterfield, and at some point it looks like it just decides to just go off, like beeline for somewhere, like for the carpet plains. and you decide maybe rather than, as much as you would like to go after it, maybe you should still stay because you still have an outstanding contract with Gwen.
With Gwen, yeah, I know, yeah. And also we could
Tethering you.
really make the it maybe an older rat, like a lone rat, which is very rough and tough. So I have a reason maybe to talk to another skilled hunter I know, to maybe I have to team up with. So
You're creating a monster, I see.
I
You know when you fight it, it's gonna be
I
like
know.
the puniest little rat you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But it's just gonna be bigger and bigger in your imagination.
Yeah,
As
I saw the
Santiago,
droppings,
he
I
knows
saw
all
the
about
claw
this.
marks. I saw the claw marks at the
Oh yeah.
floorboards.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say Humphrey's a little bit late to the party because I have to go to the toilet for a second, and this would come in quite handy.
Okay.
I
Fine.
think
But just
Santiago,
tell me first where you meet up so I can jump. in.
Santiago will try to move to the mouse and the wheel because he feels like he has allies there in some kind. But first, he's gonna get himself a new, spanking new brown hat.
What kind of hat?
And a whip maybe.
No, not a whip. I'm not.
You're looking for
A fedora. You're gonna get a fedora.
No, he looks at one, but it's not really his style. Not a trike one, a wide brim hat with something you could put a feather in later on when his friends can give him one. Or not a feather, but a plume of something.
Right.
A
So
rat's
something
tail,
showy.
maybe.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes.
Nice.
And then he'll. Is that one coin or?
I mean, let's say that you can. No, I mean a coin is for me is a fair amount of money, and for a, I imagine this you're getting like you're getting a hat with character, right?
Yes.
You've gone to a charity shop basically, or like a pawn shop, and you've kind of scratched together a few bits, and you've managed to, bargain to get a good deal on it. So you can keep your coin, and you've got a kind of a bit of a battered, wide brimmed brown hat. Okay.
Excellent.
And you all decide to meet up at the Mouse and Wheel.
If that's okay by the others, I will try to meet up there.
If it's not that suspicious, because they are students, right? And they are. How much are they suspected to be aligned with the union? Because, well, Jim obviously is, and
well, there's a lot of discontent.
This gets.
That was the whole thing with the fire and stuff. They were talking about they wanted to, firebomb the actual sheriff's office. So, it might be a bit of a hornet's nest to go to. There might be quite a bit of attention from the sheriff, sheriff and his agents on that particular pub.
True.
So let's
but
go
perhaps I will look up Letha at her tavern then. I've been there before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good place because it wasn't involved in anything except me scrubbing the toilets.
And I'll go
Formally.
into the stables and look for her, and she's not there.
We didn't have a
Just
name
nothing.
for your inn, did we?
Let's call it the Sturdy Cauldron, and it's mostly a soup place.
The sturdy cauldron,
Cold.
or the
Yes.
dirty or sturdy?
No,
did you say?
sturdy. Not everything is sturdy. The toilets are, but not
anymore.
The cauldron itself.
Nothing's dirty anymore.
That's fair.
Especially not after Letha flooded the inn room, right? With a little mistake.
Whoops. Yeah, that might have happened.
At least it's clean now.
You've been crying and sniffing so much that they tease behind your back. You've heard them saying they kind of called you the Undine.
That's okay. Yeah, I get that.
Weeping like
There's that one like really bitchy waitress who's just a gossip and will just say something bad about anybody if she can. And she's the one who said it. And she kind of maybe got try to get a laugh out of somebody, and they were kind of like, Letha's all right. Anyway.
See if that happens when Santiago's around.
I guess there will be another hot soup incident incoming.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah. Okay, so, yep. Jakob, you can shoot off for a minute. So you're going to meet up at the sturdy fountain. Cauldron. I put fountain. The sturdy cauldron.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was sleeping at the fountain.
You were staying at the fountain, yep. And yeah, we could say that Santiago comes in first with, you notice, Letha notices that he's got a new hat on. And you'll definitely know that why, because you've seen the wanted posters, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you will notice that she got her own room. She's coming from the private section of the inn.
Ah,
And
good.
she
Upstairs I can see.
And she doesn't wear an apron, so she's probably not working there anymore. She quit.
Oh, drats. Oh. Good day, Letha. Nice to meet you.
Hey, how have you been doing? You got a nice hat.
Oh yeah. I felt like it needed some local style.
True, very much. Seems like you're fitting in a bit, but it needs some decoration.
Oh yeah. Could you find me something, in my style?
Probably. I don't know how much beer goes on that hat, but all right.
Oh. Hey, talking about the beer, you're not working here anymore. You couldn't fix me a...
It's not that expensive. For once, you could pay.
Oh, okay then. Let's have a cup. Or keep 2 beers, please.
How much coin do you have, actually? Just out of curiosity.
I have 3 coins at the moment.
Ooh.
Right.
Because Gwen gave me 2, which I didn't spend.
Okay.
And I kept those.
So the way this works is, just to remind you, you have this, I can't remember what it's called. I'm going to open the character sheet very quickly. The wealth category thing.
Yeah, I'm poor.
What's it called?
Wealth.
Not that one. Is it called wealth?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the wealth. And middle class, which is what both Litha and Humphrey are, basically means that you can, you never have to go without what you need. You can always afford to stay in a simple room, to eat at a nice tavern, or to pay for passage on a cart or in a caravan. Whereas when you're poor, you're kind of not even able to do that. You can afford to spend the night in a stable, find an unpretentious meal, or to buy a drink at a bar on the Skid Row. So, yeah, I think this is a step up from where you've been staying. And as a result, we can say if you end up paying, what you're going to be probably a coin shorter. Yep. We'll just say that this meetup is going to cost you a coin altogether, as you're kind of buying the occasional round or, paying for your own meal and that sort of thing.
Yeah, no worries.
So the 2 of you meet up, and I guess Humphrey maybe has got word somehow to meet up also at the same time in the same place.
Reluctantly checking up with Gwen, I guess, and then maybe she related somehow. I don't know. They're meeting up in the sturdy cauldron. I don't know.
Gwen will actually come along too.
Ah, okay.
Oh, but she'll be the last one to come. So
great.
I'm assuming Humphrey's going to be a bit late because you don't. It's not quite a fashionably late thing. It's just more like a.
No, I just came back from the wilderness and.
Yeah.
Now going to the next place.
Yeah.
So,
You haven't had a bath in a few days. You've been out.
Yeah.
Out hunting.
Just really dusty and
Bit dusty, bit grimy. Yeah, bit sweaty. But a beer would do really nicely right now. A nice cold beer to wash that dust away.
Oh yeah.
So So when you arrive, you notice that Litha and Santiago already at a table with some drinks, and
Mhm.
Santiago's kind of like, occasionally taking his hat off and looking at it and gesturing at it and gesturing about like some sort of fountain coming out of the top of it or something. You're not sure what that's all about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
There's
Mhm.
small, something colorful up here. What do you think, Lisa? Could be nice.
Yeah, we could just put something together out of fur, or like sometimes there's really colorful spiders that have bright hair on their abdomen. We can do something with that.
Sounds grand. If I see Humphrey coming in, I'll take my foot down from the chair I had it and push it out and says, "Oh, hello, Smiles. Come and sit down."
Humphrey looks not very smiley and just nods. Yeah, and just joins you at the table. Maybe is it like a booth? Is it like a little separated, or is it
Sure.
just an open?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Joins you, puts his head off. Good to see you, everyone. Heard you talking about game.
A little. What you
How is
been
everyone?
up to? It's better.
Have been
Compared
worse.
to-
Good to see. Did anyone bother you? I mean, after happened.
No.
Not me so far, but they put up a painting of Santiago.
So
Do you have it?
Oh, you've definitely
No.
torn one down and you've got it in your jacket. Like it's
it's a
someone
trophy.
has
Come on.
someone has
It's a
painted
trophy.
a
Santiago
portrait of
wants
you.
one.
This
Yeah.
is
Yeah, okay.
notoriety. You can't you would
Yeah.
pay for this maybe even.
Yeah.
Okay, he has one himself, so yeah. He takes out, rolls it up, and puts it on the table. Hey, look here.
Oh. Quite matches, maybe.
And with the
nose
messed
is
up
a
with
little
beer.
bit- The nose is a little bit
Yeah,
off.
it should be more pointy, I think, here. And
Yeah.
he looks over at the other tables and rolls it away again. Puts it in the jacket.
Yeah.
Congrats to the artist, though.
Yeah, well,
Good to hear. Well, yeah, I kind of resigned from my former workplace.
you.
How did that go
How's
for you
about
the
time?
last month? We didn't really have time to talk. How did it go?
You know, I sat in jail until I suddenly did not anymore and was putting other guys in jail. Like I don't know.
Was that a
Running around
promotion
the
or a
wilderness.
demotion?
Oh, much likely a demotion.
Yeah.
The company was less quiet, you could say.
Mhm.
Anyway, had a few ventures out into the wilderness looking for bandits and everything. The last sheriff was not someone you could easily call competent or something like that, but
Well, that's good for us.
yeah, bad for us as he isn't in charge anymore. New guy
Oh.
in town. Nasty piece of work. Like sadist and
Okay.
means bad news. Keeping an eye on me cause I doesn't like my face, I guess. Doesn't trust me either. Well,
I can't see anything wrong with your face. It might be a bit non-greenish, but otherwise quite okay.
I hope my face never turns green again. Had a very nasty time.
Okay.
This mold. That's time again. That's some time ago. Anyway, how have you been faring? We had barely any time to talk before, well, someone tried to smash my head to a table.
That's true. Well, I didn't have such a good time, to be honest. I feel like this this contract thingy with Gustav kind of had a little bit of a backfire, and things went wrong every time, and I couldn't get any hunting jobs like the local dens. No one wanted me because of my last name.
They are gatekeeping a lot.
Yeah, and
I went there as well.
that was
Bring in the trophy.
that was really disappointing, to be honest. And so I worked as a barmaid for some time, and then, yeah, as I said, things didn't go that well, and only one of the incidents that I caused was on purpose. So not really being messed up. I got demoted and had to scrub toilets for real. Like in
Whoa.
here, and
That's a
you know
job.
how public.
Pardon?
That's one hell of a job.
Yeah.
Have you seen public toilets from the inside? I'm not like
Yes.
shitting on the job. I'm shitting on literally everything else. Sometimes it was on the ceiling, and I don't know how it got there, and I don't really want the answer, but I also cannot stop wondering about it.
Selves.
Selves. Yeah.
Well, I heard old Hank talking in the old village, talking about a number 3, which means something like, I don't know, a ballistic one.
Yes. Oh, it's 4 in here.
I had these overripe, small, small centipede eggs once, and I had very terrible situation. Yeah, it was really exciting afterwards.
Oh, is
Do-
it
do
true
we
they
need-
clamber to your face? And
Do I
try
need
to
to
lay
hold up an
eggs
X
down your
card?
throat?
Content warning.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. I'm
No,
joking.
I'm sorry.
I'm joking.
No, let's just say that they didn't agree with me. My stomach.
Oh,
Centipede
But they were
eggs.
for free.
was it a turning green
Yeah.
accident?
But you know, I mean,
Oh,
people
well, I'm
could just
already green.
flush and put it away. Like there are buckets everywhere, and you can use water, and they just don't.
I know.
And there's this one guy, I can now identify people by it. You turn around. Don't make it so obvious. The guy right behind you.
Oh.
Explosive diarrhea constantly. It's because he always eats fatty meat and then chucks one beer after another, like every fucking evening. Every
the one.
evening. Oh no.
So that one free F word. Otherwise, we're no longer PG-13.
So every evening, how drunk does he get?
Well, it's on a very regular basis, so not that much. It's just, I think he likes it. I don't know how
I'm
you can live with this.
I'm spying through the room if I catch a face that fits the type of.
There
the
is
person
a
Reaper describes.
is a tall but very chubby person that is kind of has massive sideburns and is a bit sweaty all over his forehead and this little squinted pig eyes. And
Looks
yeah,
exactly like old Hank from the village. What are you doing here, mate?
Oh no.
I know this guy
oh good God.
from the village pub. He's
Vindaloo
traveling
Frank.
now. Yeah. So own Audrin. All right, yeah.
Yeah, and I stayed at the mice stable because I was a bit too. I couldn't get much money in, and so I was afraid and holding on to it. So I slept at the stable with the mouse.
Oh, the mouse is still there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of our mouse now.
Yeah, I
But-
guess.
I named her. I don't know if it's fitting, but because I got a bit emotional over the whole situation and had a bit of a mental breakdown, like every night, and so I call her Snotty because I kind of covered her.
Have you
Like it's
watched?
brushed out.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
it is.
Oh,
It
then it's
is.
fine.
I take care of her and I look after her and all of that, but
Or snotty then.
it's naughty now.
Yeah, too
Did you say ours
snotty.
or yours?
No, ours. I mean, we brought her back together. I was just looking after her.
That's grand.
Good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Letha. It's very sad.
But things get better now, right? They get better.
We'll see.
Should be.
Oh, that's
We've
at just
done-
that moment. At just that moment, you faintly hear the ringing of bells, like alarm bells.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's not Gwen entering the inn. It's just an alarm outside.
Not like Christmas bells. Like
Or maybe there's a bell at the
Santiago-
door. So
I live in the
Santiago
countryside
checks.
where there's like every Saturday at 12 o'clock they have like bells in the fire in the village fire house, and they can hear them all around the other villages ringing their bells to check them. It's that kind of a bell. It's the hue and the cry bell,
Okay.
which usually means there's a fire.
Oh no. not
And you see
again.
people instantly like pushing their seats back and heading for the door, because even if the fire's not near them, it's kind of a big deal, as we determined last time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
anyway, that's happening. You can continue having your drinks and
oh no,
No.
Humphrey jumps out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if everyone else is kind of looking at it, it would be suspicious to just stay calm at the table and don't be afflicted by it. So yeah, I would at least feign interest.
okay.
Are they running outside and running away?
Or I would go outside. I'm
No,
interested.
nobody's running yet because there's like no smell of smoke. The bells are kind of in the distance. There's no one's necessarily thinking that there's a fire nearby necessarily. And in fact,
I bring my beer,
But if-
and on my way over to the door, I will pick up someone else's bread roll and put it in my jacket.
Ah, fantastic. Yeah, but even if it is a fire, everyone should be concerned because I suppose Chesterfield is mostly made out of wood. Below a giant sofa, so we would do good to help each other in case of a fire. So Humphrey would definitely go out and
yeah.
look around if he can see any smoke or something like that. Also, it was kind of uncomfortable because he didn't know how to react to Letha's story, so he's kind of relieved just to
Have an
to
excuse.
have a distraction. Yeah, to do a distraction.
By the bell.
Sure. So you kind of follow the, it's, I don't think this is like a super busy time when you've chosen to meet. That it wouldn't make sense. So you kind of follow the other patrons out to the outside of the pub, and you kind of very quickly determine this kind of like groupthink thing where everyone's kind of like, you're able to pick up on the cues of where other people are looking to very quickly determine where it's coming from. And it's coming from somewhere in the distance. You can see a little bit of smoke. You can see that there is a bit of bustle happening further down the road near that end of town. And it's, I don't know on the map. I want to keep this kind of theater of the mind a bit and not worry too much about pulling a map up and trying to figure out exactly where you are. The only thing that I determined when we think about where that map was before, the top right of the map is in my head where the kind of slum area was, which is where Santiago has kind of been hanging out. And I imagine that Letha has been a little bit more near the center somewhere, maybe even near the bottom of the map. And I kind of was imagining where the blue flame place was over on the left-hand side was kind of the wealthier part of town. Because it's like there's a guild house and there's probably money around there, and the university is right in the middle. So the university is like the main bit. So this is happening kind of to the north, the top left of the map. So off in a kind of different direction, which probably none of you have really been to very much. Yeah. It's
So
kind of in
we're-
the distance.
we're
You
in
can
the-
see above some of the buildings that there's a bit of smoke in the distance, but no massive roaring fire or anything like that at the moment.
Should one go and help? I say loudly enough so that all can hear me.
I suppose so. I look to you two. Maybe we shouldn't be seen that much together.
Yeah, they'll probably at one of guards.
You see the proprietor of the inn. You're at the fountain. Oh no, you're not at the fountain. Sorry, no, never mind.
The
Nope.
sturdy cauldron.
The sturdy cauldron. This is a boggart place. You do see an Undine go running down the street, and Santiago, you recognize the proprietor, or perhaps like the eldest son or daughter of the proprietor of the fountain, running to help because they're really good at putting fires out, of course.
Yeah.
And
You go.
Yeah.
Grand. I shout after them and encourage them.
They're kind of like on a mission, so they don't really acknowledge. And there's a few of the people clapping, indeed, as they're going past, like, yeah, and Undine's gonna save the city, or whatever. And if you see a couple of boggarts, like, kind of heading that direction. They look kind of relatively calm because there's no visible flames from here, but they're carrying buckets, empty buckets. So they're gonna do their part as well, looks like. So do you want to just what do you want to do?
Come on, let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Still carrying my beer. I'm going that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you head down the street and you kind of notice that the closer you get, you can start smelling the smoke. There's a bit of a hubbub, a bit of noise coming from ahead, the sound of a big crowd. And as you get closer, you're joining a crowd of people heading in that general direction. Can all of you give me a test, please? We're going to ask for a roll.
Sure.
And this is kind of a passive one. It's kind of the equivalent of a Dungeons and Dragons like passive perception test. So this is going to be caution, street and caution. And because it's passive, there's no re-rolls here. I just want a straight up roll.
All right.
Let me know what you get if any of you get any successes.
3 of a kind.
Oh,
Yeah, I got a basics. I got two
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 pair.
basic successes. Yeah.
Yep.
Two basics.
And Santiago got a critical. That's good. Yeah.
I got 3 of a kind and a basic.
Okay.
Whoa.
So Humphrey kind of sees some movement down an alley that you're passing, but you don't. It doesn't fully. There's a lot happening. There's a lot of people around. But both Litha and Santiago turn to look, and you catch at the far end of this alley. It's quite a long alley. In fact, it looks like there's another street on the other side. Somebody is running from between some houses. They've kind of crashed against the side of the wall of this alley that you're looking down, and they go pelting like they're running for their life away from you down this alley. And a moment later, someone comes pelting down the same path, slams into the wall, and then chases after them. And the person chasing after them is kind of quite unusual looking. You catch a flash of a patch on their face, like they have one eye maybe. And he has a drawn lancetta. And
it's a
you
lancetta.
can't be sure, but you think you see at one point a lick of fire on the blade, as if the blade is kind of maybe aflame somehow. And it's once he starts running, it kind of he's running full tilt after this other guy. And because of the speed, if it was on fire, it's probably going out. And they're heading away from you.
Just gonna tap Lethan Humphrey on the shoulder and just run after. He's curious.
What? By the time Humphrey looks to see what's happening, you don't see both of them. You just see the back of the other one. You can't see any flame. You just see somebody is running with a drawn sword, And just as you notice them, they kind of disappear around the corner.
Okay.
As Santiago is running full tilt after.
Yeah, I do some angry mumbling and then follow Santiago as fast as I can.
Absolutely, full speed.
Okay. So it's Santiago, Litha, and Humphrey. It's sort of that order.
Yep.
Okay. Just so when you trip the trap, I know who dies first. Okay.
Sure.
So you go racing down the alley. I mean, you're
Question. Just
yeah.
one thing. Did we carry our weapons? It doesn't really make
Sure,
sense,
yeah.
does it?
I mean, everyone's got
I do.
weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, Santiago's is kind of. It's actually. I want to say it's not on the wanted poster. Like, they didn't. I mean, this is maybe a point of contention for Santiago as well. Is like, it's such a big part of your identity that they missed that out. It's on the one hand, you're kind of glad because it means you can carry it around, and it's not going to give you away like your hat would have. But at the same time, it's like, how do they notice the hat and not the sword? Like,
yes, exactly. And it's an
what kind of
important lancetta.
Yeah, it's like if they were proper Slua, they would have got the sword right and ignored the hat. Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
but yeah, his hat carrying is always.
Yeah. So I'm happy for you to be armed. I mean, the key skets, I guess, are a little bit bulky, but I mean, Humphrey's been out on his. He's just come straight back, and it's probably. I imagine it's slung over his shoulder. He's not going to leave it in the pub unattended.
Yeah.
You might. It's up to you. I think it's quite possible that Letha didn't come down to the pub for a drink to meet up with her weapon on her. You would have left it in your room potentially. It's up to you.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I mean, it would make sense. She has a locked room and she was just meeting with friends. Like, she didn't expect to go out and fight someone or get into trouble. So I'd say she's weaponless at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you Santiago's the first one. You go turning around the corner. Kind of following the way they were running. By the way, they're so you're walking towards the fire. Let's say you looked off to your left down this alley, and they were running away from you. And then when they got to the end of the alley, they turned left. So they're now running away from the fire, it seems. So you go running after them, turn left, and you can see just down the road a short way, there's another alley, and there's two people standing in the alley right next to each other. And as you come turning, like they're embracing. And as you kind of come around the corner and look, like you're making a bit of noise, one of them turns his head sharply towards you. It definitely is a Bogart, you can see, with an eye patch over one eye. And he jerks his lancetta out of the other person he seemed to be embracing, who slumps to the floor. And he just basically runs into the alley he was standing in front of.
Oh, I'm gonna hunt him.
I get to the guy on the floor and see if he's already dead, or give him information, or if I can save him, actually, because I'm good at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Humphrey, can I climb on one of the buildings to have a better overview and also potentially a better shooting range?
Sure. Yeah, we can add some sort of like terrain thing there.
Yeah.
You notice that looks like just opposite the mouth of the alley on the same side of the street that you're on right now, because they're on the other side of the street down a little ways where there's another alley, and you notice kind of not far from where you are, there's a small stone wall that you could quite easily like kind of climb up onto to get a bit of elevation. So you go running for that. Santiago's running straight for the mouth of the alley with your lancetta out as well, like drawn.
Yeah, I'm pulling it now. He's clearly aggressive, and I want that lancetta. Oh, I mean to defend myself.
So you leap over the guy who's been stabbed lying on the floor.
Yeah.
Humphrey goes for the wall. Litha runs to the guy who's lying there, stabbed. So let's do this one at a time. Santiago is the first one, because you were at the front. You're running straight there. You just as you turn into the alley, you don't see anything. There's no one there. And it looks like it's a dead end alley as well. There's like a brick wall right in front of you. So you come up short.
Hold this. That's a look and search.
And Humphrey is just a moment behind you, just unslinging his key set as he gets into position, drops onto a knee. You kind of look down your sights past Santiago, and you also don't see a target to aim at. Litha drops to her knees next to the man on the floor, who's still alive, barely, but there's blood kind of coming out of his mouth. He's like coughing it up. You roll him onto his side because he kind of fell kind of forward. So as you roll him onto his side, you can see that he's been stabbed right under his rib cage, and possibly at an angle because there's very, very, very well. Before I describe the blood, I was gonna do very human description here. This is a fairy. You can tell when you roll him onto his side. You didn't see any wings, but he is wearing a jacket, and you suspect that he's got his wings hidden under his jacket. But you can tell as soon as you've turned him, he's got the very fine features of a fairy. Although maybe a fairy, he's not wearing nice clothing. His clothes are a bit more rough. His wealth status is poor, shall we say? Or his decorum level is shabby, kind of. So a fairy on hard times. And this is not unusual. There is definitely an underclass in the fairy realm. You have there's a very, very big divide between the social classes. So it's not unusual to see a poor fairy. They don't usually hide their wings, though. That's a bit unusual. They are, even the poor ones are proud of who they are. They like to fly when they can. So that is something that's a bit unusual. And just as you're looking at I'm not gonna look it up. I can't remember what color the fairy blood is. I don't think it's red, but I don't want to.
It's blue.
It doesn't matter. Whatever color it is, we have blue blooded probably.
Yeah, I think it's blue.
It's very dark. Whatever color it's meant to be, it's very dark. This is. It seems like perhaps the heart has been punctured, and he's kind of gasping for air. While there's blood kind of pumping out of his mouth, and he's kind of looking at you, his eyes extremely wide, pleading, but he dies within moments.
Yeah, I will definitely stay with him and just be there after I realize that I cannot save this guy. I will just try to make it a bit comfortable for him as possible and just make sure he doesn't die alone. Trailing his hands and just be with him.
He seems to be trying to say something to you, but he can't get. There's no air to get a word out. Yeah.
Could this be an experience? Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. This could definitely be an experience. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the word he's trying to get out is he's got his mouth open like that. And that's kind of all he can get out.
I didn't understand anything. Maybe due to noise cancelling of Discord.
Let me just make this.
Not really. It doesn't.
Oh, noise cancelling. I was making a sound.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I thought I had to get intimate with my mic a bit there.
Discord noise cancelling is very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sadly, yes.
And going back to the two of you, Humphrey. I don't know how long Humphrey wants to stay on his wall, But Santiago, you said you wanted to go in and have a look around. Feel free to give me a test for that. That's
Just
definitely
the same.
no. Well, let me just have a quick look. I need to. I've got so many windows open. Apologies. I got to figure out which browser. I've got 3 browsers open.
Yeah.
You're looking
Exploration?
for exploration. Yeah, for sure. Wait, hold on.
Oh,
No.
okay.
It's actually there's a specific one for this. I think it's investigation under academia. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Gathering information, looking for hidden
okay.
objects,
Yeah.
analyzing a crime scene. It's all investigation.
Yeah.
So give it your best
I'll try
shot.
that then. I have a basic.
Okay.
No, I'm not going to do anything more. I'm not going to risk my basic to get higher.
Yeah, you've just got 3 dice, right? Yeah.
Yeah, only 3 dice.
Yeah, so I mean, 2 of a kind is is a pretty good result for that.
Yes.
You look, and with the basic success, you are surprised to. It looks like nobody has been in this alley. Like you'd expect to see something, some even droplets of blood or something, because he had a drawn sword that had just literally been shoved into somebody. But there's like nothing, so you're a little bit spooked. And as you're spending time looking in there, Humphrey comes up next to you, and
Humphrey,
don't. Yeah, you can make another roll too if you want to have a little look around.
Yeah. I think Humphrey would rather climb up a roof so he can see, have an overview over the alleys, and also can quickly turn around to see if Letha, if with Letha's everything's all right. And
yeah, when you turn around to look at Letha, that's like you can see that she's maybe laying his head gently back down onto the street. He's quite clearly dead. And I guess you look. Letha looks up, and notices Humphrey kind of glancing in your direction.
Yeah. So Humphrey just nods quickly and then turns around just to look for the fleeing Bogart. Maybe I see him through the alleys. At least I keep watch.
Yeah. So you're gonna stick around here
for a while. I would stick for a few minutes, like.
Okay.
As long as Santiago looks for clues in the alley.
To be clear, the guy was stabbed at the mouth of the alley, but he's definitely in the street. So
let's.
At the moment, there's nobody on this particular side street, probably because they're distracted by the fire. But yeah.
But when Santiago feels he can't find anything, he will definitely leave. He says, "Let's get out of here."
Yeah, I mean, Humphrey's able to relatively easily. We don't need to get any tests or anything for this. You kind of find an easy way up onto a nearby rooftop. You don't need to roll for it because what's your? It would I guess also
athletics
be investigation.
Would be not caution.
No, not rolling to climb up onto it. I mean, like scouting.
Yeah.
Is probably investigation, I guess.
Caution. Maybe. Huh.
Yeah. Stay vigilant. Preempt an ambush. Spot hidden littlings or animals. Okay, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So you're trying to spot somebody. So yeah, caution could work here.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So go ahead and give me a caution roll.
I got 6 die. And this is 3 of a kind.
Okay.
And I would do a reroll with my other 3 dice and hope I get one more 3 in. I got a basic success as well. So
okay, so a critical and a basic. You think you see something. If you imagine that the wall at the end of this alley wasn't where it was, like blocking the alley. You notice 4 blocks away, like you just see a shadow kind of, just as you're kind of, because you're looking kind of like scanning, looking for something, you just see a bit of movement as something vaguely littling shaped slips behind a house, still continuing away from you almost like in a straight line. And then you
Okay.
kind of stay a few more minutes waiting to see if you see them pass between any other houses, but you don't see anything.
But I can keep the general direction in mind. So, or
It
the
looks
house,
like
maybe
they're
I can-
heading. It looks like they're heading away from like towards the edge of the city.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. Good. Yeah, I try to keep the house in mind. To remember the house. If it's got some special trait or feature.
Well, it doesn't disappear into the house, but like behind the house.
Yeah,
like blocking
but
your view.
this would-
Yeah.
Yeah. But maybe if it's, I don't know, like an inn with a balcony or special, or a, yeah, good, they won't have a weather
We can
roosters on
we could
top,
say
but
it's easy
yeah.
enough for you to figure it out. Like maybe the house he's disappeared behind isn't that noticeable, but next door to it there's one with a very like a slightly unusual chimney or something. We'll go with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then I head back to the others, to the street mouth of the alley where Letha is.
Okay.
Maybe, are you still there, Letha? Are you still kneeling beside?
Absolutely. She's just sitting beside this person. Probably her hands and clothes are covered in blood because she just, had this guy bleeding out on her. And she looks a bit pale and shaken.
Mm.
Like, this is not her normal business. Like, dying people all around her is not her thing. Really not. And she's kind of, but still, like, keeping her wits about herself a little bit, like, and she's not searching the person, but she's absolutely kind of scanning him up and down, trying to take in whatever hints there may be. If he has anything to do with a fire or anything else unusual, like except for hiding his wings. So he was kind of trying to get away from someone who's specifically searching for a fairy. So I think that is why he covered up his wings. And so I try and see if I detect anything else upon him.
Yeah.
Or smell, like the smell of fire, or like burning stuff on his hands, or
Okay.
things like that, maybe.
So you did mention that, so you don't need to roll for it. You do pick up a smell. His clothes do smell of smoke. You're not sure if it's because you thought the sword was on fire and you obviously got stabbed by it. But it smells. It doesn't smell like. Although I guess you wouldn't know this necessarily. It doesn't. The smell is of a wood fire, like a wood smoke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of strongly. But you don't see any signs of burns on his body, like part of his clothes have been on fire or anything like that. And as you go through his pockets and stuff looking for something, he doesn't have anything on him. He seems to be like very poverty stricken. You don't see there's nothing hidden like on his clothes or anything like that. So there's nothing really that you can, there are no clues to use that. I mean, I'm not gonna make you roll for it either. It's very quickly obvious that he has a coat that he's deliberately, like a long coat that was deliberately chosen to cover his wings, but it's very tatty, and underneath he's wearing shabby clothing, like very, very dirty and rough, holes in them, that sort of thing. And yeah, the guy that you saw when you all saw him before he disappeared into the alley, he didn't look similar. He was carrying a lancetta, which is obviously a dueling weapon. It's not something that people generally carry. I mean, Santiago definitely does have one too. So for you, that's also kind of maybe weird because he's a boggart. There are boggarts who carry lancettas as well, but it's kind of known for being the dueling weapon of choice for the Slua. But none of these weapons are exclusive. They're just, some are more preferred. and you didn't like looking at this very, very like shabbily dressed, obviously very poor littling dead on the ground. You're kind of comparing that the other person you saw was not in a similar state of decorum. They were, I wouldn't say they were like wealthily dressed, but they were a bit more like, I don't know, dark clothing. Have you all seen The Princess Bride?
Yes.
So the Dread Pirate Roberts, without the mask, but just like dark clothing. Yeah, I think of it like, I don't know, just like dark clothing. I don't know why that popped into my head, but yeah, dark clothing. In fact, if you look at the artwork of Humphrey here, not dissimilar to Humphrey, just without a hat. He didn't have a hat on, and he had an eye patch, but kind of wearing dark clothing. Nondescript, but not, you wouldn't think that they were like, they could probably walk into a shop and not necessarily be like people think like, oh, a beggar has just walked in, like this, like the guy lying dead would probably have a problem going into most shops to buy something. They'd be like, oh, are you going to steal something? Like sort of imagine like class things like that. Yeah.
Just before Santiago says we need to leave, he can I see the wound? Is it a professionally made wound, or is it just a clumsy stabbing?
It looks like a it's how to say this. It's clearly designed to kill the person. Like it's been shoved just under the rib cage to kind of miss the ribs so it doesn't like get deflected, and it's been pushed in at an angle to pierce the heart. So a fairly surgical strike, but also fairly brutal as well at the same time. If that makes sense.
Humphrey would walk up from behind. Oh, did you really want to do something more, Rasmus?
No. Come on, come join us.
Sees Letha maybe kneeling next to the corpse there, and he says, "Poor bugger," and then he very reluctantly, very awkwardly tries to pat Letha's shoulder. Even for Humphrey's, it's very awkward, and he pulls his hand back and says, "You're okay."
It's all right, I think. What should we do now?
I think we should leave, and I think you should need a drink.
I saw the guy heading out from the city. I point in the general direction.
You think we should track him?
Before the Traeger runs cold. We still have a chance.
Letha, you're covered in blood as well.
Yeah. Was Santiago's going to say, we need at least to change clothes on Letha here.
I have a cloak, right? I just hurriedly wrestle it from my neck and hand it Letha.
Honestly, if we go tracking a murderer, I would be like to be armed. Like if anyone has noticed, I'm bare hand.
Pistol? Or do you want to grab new clothes and your gun?
Gwen is so meant to be meeting you at that pub as well.
Honestly, guys,
I'm trying to pull us back to the bar, not the other way.
Also, we should maybe do something about this poor guy. Maybe at least like I could. You certainly not, Santiago, but I could approach a guard and say that there has been a murder.
Okay. Yeah. Let me with my lancetta not be around here when you do that.
No, you really know.
Yeah, also the sheriff has quite of an eye on me, so I think I look for the trails. I look for the trails and.
I mean, in the case of a fire, the sheriff's office, to use that term, are going to be coordinating putting that out. There isn't like a fire brigade. So
you guys move.
Yes,
move.
I'm leaving.
And I will in a minute start crying for help and not leave the crime scene. I will sit here and I will not do anything else. And I will cry for help and let people approach me. And then I say, I found this guy, and you just scutter. And we meet again at the bar because it makes sense that I come back bloody and stuff. And people have seen me like this, so they don't suspect me to be.
At the cauldron.
Yes.
See you guys there.
Yeah, and you see
Last
like,
one there is around. There's his leaves.
and you see like a little bit of a manic expression on Humphrey's face, like he licked blood, and this is like the hunter's. He don't want the tray to get cold, right? He wants to get something out of this, and he's like shivering, shaking a little bit, and while he nestles at his cloak and says, "See you then," and rushes.
I'll be back as fast as I can, and then we go after this guy.
Yeah, and he just stops a moment. Take care of you. Take care.
Sure.
And, then just runs basically.
Run! You're an expert.
Yeah, it's really stupid running from a crime scene, but yeah. Humphrey.
Santiago shoots his lancet and just walks away.
Yeah.
And I will cause a ruckus and desperately start crying for help.
You wait until they're out of sight, right? And then you start shouting for
absolutely.
help. Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's take a quick break because we're
We're
kind of just past the halfway mark. So we'll take about a 10-minute break. So people need the loo and to get drinks and stuff. We can do that. So we'll be back shortly and carry on.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, the shoulder pads. Yeah.
The shoulder pad.
It is.
Was so sweet.
It is like a signature move for my characters that they pat shoulders, and Maria just commented
Very, awkwardly as well.
Yeah. No, some
in
more,
your own
some
games.
less.
In your other
No,
games.
yeah. When characters I play, player characters from me. They usually do some very sincere, some very awkward. Do shoulder pads. Yeah.
Okay. All right, we're back.
All right.
We just had a little discussion about the shoulder patting, and you know, Jakob was assuring us that they're not always awkward.
Not from my other characters. Like
Yeah.
the knight was good at shoulder padding. Mark can confirm.
Okay. Yeah. So you meet up. Let's stick with Letha. So I guess there's no issue really with the two of you going back to the pub because again the people are focusing on the fire that's happening. You do hear Letha start shouting for help as you're exiting scene, so to speak, and Letha, after a short period, someone kind of comes over to see what the fuss is about, and then they go running off to fetch one of the sheriff's agents, and you wait a little while longer, and eventually someone comes. One of the agents comes. You don't recognize them from the, because remember there were some that left the building to investigate the fire. You kind of got a glimpse of them. This wasn't one of them. You don't really recognize them, or him, I should say. It's just one who comes, and he questions you. We don't need to role play it out. It's fairly obvious to him that you didn't do anything because you haven't got a weapon. Why would you be staying here? But he takes your name. He takes he's not writing it down in a notebook. This isn't like that's far in the future, if you will. He remembers your name. He asks where you're staying or where you live. So he kind of takes note of your pub or the inn, and then says if they have any other questions, they'll get in touch with you. And he then heads off in the direction of the sheriff's office. Kind of gives you leave to go.
Good. Then I will make.
Did you
my
tell
way
him that
to
you
the
saw
pub
someone?
again.
Did you tell him that you? I guess I didn't ask that. Did you say that you got a sight of the attacker?
No, probably not. I just said like I found this and was acting well, or not so much acting how distressed I actually was. So like
Yeah.
it was kind of believable. She was shaking and very pale, and but also I guess her name kind of gave her a bit of credibility because like it's Bogger territory and the Flamels are pretty well known. So yeah. But
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
think she would have necessarily told them about the attacker.
Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he would have asked if you saw who did it, and if you say no, he won't really press it at all. Yeah, and yeah, you.
But
make your way
actually,
back.
she would say like there was kind of someone running away, but she didn't really clock it.
Okay, he asks what direction. Do you say the alley?
Where Humphrey just
Yeah, I
went.
will just point in a general direction, and
Okay, he kind of looks into the alley and kind of you see him frown as he kind of steps into the alley for a minute to kind of look around, and then he's like, oh, you must have been mistaken. But anyway, so
maybe.
he kind of notices all that. Then he leaves. You leave, just leaving the ferry lying there, and you make your way back to the cauldron. Gwen has arrived by now. In fact, she's there looking a bit confused, standing in the middle of the pub, like where's it's not closed, but there's no bartender, there's no patrons. And that's when the two of you, Humphrey and Santiago, enter the pub, and she kind of notices, she hears the door being opened and turns to you. And she has a big smile and says, "Oh, I was wondering if this was the right place. I was, what's going on?"
Oh, there was some kind of fire, and we went to investigate.
Oh, is that what all that fuss was about? Oh, I thought somebody was getting married.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No. Not that way.
Yeah.
It's
She-
still empty of other people.
She probably walked
Yeah.
like against the flow of the crowds to come here while they were going to the fire. So, yep.
Humphrey would still be out there, I suppose, like looking for tracks or traces of the murderer.
Okay.
So you're not going back to the pub?
Not yet. Humphrey wanted to go. Santiago wanted to go back. Letha wanted to stay with the corpse, and Humphrey wanted to
Okay.
follow to the place where he saw the suspected
Right, okay,
murderer
sorry,
and look for.
I understood you were
never
going back. I guess I kind of got distracted by the shoulder patting.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's everyone. It's how everyone reacted the first time.
At the bar, Santiago will go behind the bar and pour drinks for everyone at the table, and go around with all the grasses and sit down and say, "Oh, Gwen, sit down. We'll wait for the others. They're coming."
I imagine you pull the first beer, start chugging it while you're pulling the next one.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
by the time
exactly,
it's
yeah.
done, you're on to It's like just
Yeah,
a cheeky free beer there. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
You earned it.
I have kind of paid.
Yeah, you did your brave deed, right? You went running after a murderer.
Yeah.
Okay, Humphrey. So we'll come back to Santiago and Gwen in a minute. You're pulling the beers, and then you kind of indicate which table you're all sat at, and she sits there, clearly waiting for the rest of the group to return. Humphrey then goes off in the direction that you saw the guy running in. So if I can get another, I won't keep making you roll the same roll because I don't usually like that in role-playing games, but this is for a very specific thing. You had been looking before to see if you could see anything, and you saw him. Now you know roughly where he was. I want you to see if you can find any clues. So this isn't actually... Oh, in fact, you didn't roll it before. I want you to roll an investigation roll. Because now you're at the spot where you saw him. You're almost certain this is the house you saw him disappearing around. And I want you to do an investigation roll to see.
Do I? Yeah. Okay. I'm especially looking for tracks and. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely investigation though. You're looking for gathering information, investigating crime scene, notice small, easy to miss details. So it's absolutely.
Okay, so if I track a beast, I have to roll investigation too, just for the future.
No, because specifically exploration is about in the wilds.
Okay, fair point.
So it's
All
kind of
right.
like exploration is more like the survival-based element of this, whereas investigation is more of the CSI sort of.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
How was it with experience? Can I use them once per session or once per chapter?
I think it's once per session.
Okay, then I would like to invoke
think.
one of the sheriff goons, and because I got a minimal amount of criminal investigation basics
Okay.
during my time with them, like tracking bandits and everything.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
yes, oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Go investigating.
And just to remind people how they work, I need to double check the mechanics of the experiences. Yeah, so they can be called into play more than once. Each experience should never be called into play more than once per session.
Okay.
And it gives you a +1, right? Or a reroll, or let me just have a look.
Yeah, a +1, I suppose.
No, it's they could be helpful, and the helpful is basically like a +1. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a basic success, 2 1s. I got 4 dice. I think I'm gonna push it and make a reroll.
Okay.
Yes, it's a critical.
Okay.
I got 3 of kind.
Okay.
Detective Humphrey.
It's very, 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 very hard to find anything.
Yeah.
You're not sure exactly what's going on here. The guy was almost certainly, from the glimpse you got of him, a boggart like you. He had the distinctive sort of broad face and the kind of Yeah, to me it looks like a boxer's nose, kind of.
Yeah,
the way they look a bit. He had the very distinctive features of a boggart. You find a footprint, a fresh footprint, in a garden, like a bed, a garden bed. Yeah, like some dirt, in a garden. You'd only find a single footprint. There's no other footprint leading up to it or leading away from it. I mean, the footprint is clearly, it's a left foot, and it's clearly heading in a certain direction, again towards the wall of the city. But you look and look and look, and you don't see anything else.
I'm in a mastermind that I am with my Witcher monologues. I say, must have jumped really high, getting over the wall. Single footprint, and I look up to the roof.
You're not far from the wall. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there was also a wall in the alley where the guy disappeared, right?
Yeah.
So does the footprint point in the direction of a roof or something like that?
Well, the wall of the city's not far. It's like one house over.
Okay.
So it could, if you're thinking of like giant leaps, then in theory, whoops, we've just lost Letha.
Just lost Lisa. Yeah.
Or Carmen. I realize our video is all messed up in the stream. We'll just give it a second. She should be coming back in.
Okay.
Should I? Nope. The other way.
It's because we're down to three video feeds instead of 4, so the grid has been messed up. But my feed is a direct feed, which is why it's okay. And Jakob's position hasn't changed. There we go.
And here she comes.
Oh, okay. There she comes. Maybe. Ah, yeah. Fantastic.
Back again.
Hello again.
Can you hear us, Carmen? Hello? Carmen, can you hear us?
Back again. I'm back again. Yeah, kind of my internet decides not to be so well this evening.
German internet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, famous for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it.
Okay.
Okay, but
So, Humphrey, you notice that if you follow that train of thought, then from where you see the single footprint, there is a roof. There's a house straight ahead of you. So in theory, perhaps a leap onto the roof of that house, and then it wouldn't be a very large leap. Well, it would be a shorter leap from here to the roof, from the roof to the top of the tower, the top of the wall. But looking there, you don't see, like, if he had done it, if that is in fact what had happened, then he would have already have done it. Like, he's not, you don't see anyone, like, currently jumping around or climbing. Or
just to be
like that.
sure, I go around the house and look if there's maybe another footprint in the streets. And if not, then I'll just...
You don't need to roll for this again because, I mean, with a critical success, you're like, that's you searching around. You know exactly what you're looking for, and you don't see anything else. Nope.
Yeah. Okay. So I just make a little measuring of the footprint, because that's what I learned. And after I memorized it, I go back to the inn, just taking a little detour, not to go over the crime scene again.
We can say that there is actually a small gate in the wall, or like a I don't know, like a passage leading through the wall, but like usually guarded. And we can say that there is a window set into the door, so it's not currently guarded; it's locked. It's quite heavy, but there is like an iron grill where you can look through it.
Okay.
So you could kind of peer through it in the direction that this person was running.
Yeah.
If your hypothesis is correct, of course. Which I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay. I'll do this then. Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't see anything, of course.
I suppose so. But there are no guards around, which is basically good thing, I suppose. So yeah, I will not venture out into the wilderness right now. Especially it's already like evening. It's going dark slowly, right?
Yeah, you're probably meeting up early evening, so it was probably close to dusk when you were. Yeah, when the cry went up for the fire. So it's getting dark now. Yep.
Okay. So
Okay.
now I will head back to the crew and yeah.
Okay. So Letha gets back before Humphrey does, and when you walk through the door, there's still no one else in the pub. You see that Santiago is just finishing a mug of something when you walk in.
Refill? Do you want a refill?
No.
I'll get you one.
Gwen looks at you and says, Letha, what happened to you? Your clothes are a state.
Yeah, there has also been a murder.
A what?
Yeah.
Oh, is that fairy blood?
Yep.
Oh, I thought maybe you dropped a pie on yourself or something.
No blueberries. It's
It's blue
it's
blood.
blood. Give me a second. I'll just change, and
Oh,
I think Humphrey got a trail on the guy who did it.
Oh, how shocking! Oh, how shocking!
Yeah, it was a big burly guy, flaming lancetta, eye patch.
She's like almost unconsciously like distractedly drinking a beer as she's trying to process what you've just told her, like murder, and you're covered in actual blood. Yeah, it's kind of you have the feeling that you've shocked her somehow, like she's distractedly drinking. You go then, I guess, and sort your clothes out. Get a
Yeah,
change. Yeah,
absolutely. I will change and also get my keys.
your rifle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Santiago, as Letha is going to her rooms, and you just mentioned the eye patch, Gwen kind of coughs into her drink and sits it down and says, "No. A flaming lancetta and an eye patch? No.
Yes.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Silly. Please tell me why that would be silly. That would sound
Well,
like an interesting
you know
story.
this you know the story, the love story. It's a
I like love stories.
it's a children's tale. It's something told to children to get them to behave. No.
Might not have happened to me.
You've not heard of Herman and Estelle? Do those names mean anything
Have
to you?
Haven't,
You
right?
probably haven't. No.
No, my mother wasn't big on those kinds of love stories. She only told me one. Over and over again.
Oh, which one was that? Maybe I've read about it.
How she met my father. It was a very nice story.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Herman and
Estelle.
Interesting.
Well, let me tell you the story.
Yes, please. Yes. Then just a refill. I will go fetch another beer. Still behind the bar.
She waits for you. No, she doesn't wait for you. You get up to go refill the beers. She stands up and kind of follows you, talking at you. 'Cause she's able to recount this story, this folk tale that she's obviously read about. Actually, you don't know if she says it's a child's story, so it could be something like the Grimm's fairy tales, something that she may have heard as a child or she may have read about in her studies. Mm-hmm. But to kind of summarize, there was a strong love between a boggart named Herman and a fairy, a fairy from a noble family called Estelle. Oh. And she was, in fact, like destined for great things in her house. She was the firstborn in her house, and had She was very beautiful. She had a long line of suitors, and yet she refused them all because she was, she had kind of fallen for Herman. She doesn't tell you how she fell for him, but that's, she's kind of recanting it, like the bullet points of the story. She's not a very good storyteller. She's giving you a very abridged PowerPoint presentation of it.
But also all the historical context. All the historical
yes.
context.
The literary report of it.
She goes into the noble family. Like, it's important for you to know that she's the firstborn from a noble family, but how she meets Herman is kind of doesn't really matter, right? And they fell in love, but they were not able to. Well, she was not allowed to marry him because of her family, basically, and they decided to run away together. Sounds familiar a little bit, maybe. And
not for Santiago.
One night they made their escape. They ran away, and they were found not long
Did they actually
after.
meet up at
They
right
actually
place?
met up
Oh.
and were on their
They're
way.
quite competent.
Yeah. They had gone a little ways away, were making their escape. But they were ambushed on the road by one of Estelle's suitors, a nasty little shit who she had rejected. And he basically, with a bunch of thugs, ambushed her and ambushed the two of them. So the story goes. And they were forcefully separated. And Herman was sent to a prison in the in-betweens, chained up against a wall to be fed to the next spider that came along. And his jailers went through his belongings hoping to find something valuable, and all they found was a locket. When they opened it up, there was inside a painting of his love, Estelle. His jailers were furious that this worthless trinket was all that he had on him. They were expecting something more because he was the beloved of a very wealthy noble fairy. So in disgust, they threw this painting of her in this locket into the campfire. And while Herman cursed them, at the same moment, so the story goes, Estelle was chained in the house of this evil suitor who was demanding that she marry him. And very creepy, of course. And this suitor found a locket on Estelle, and when he opened it, he discovered a painting or portrait of her love, a boggart named Herman, who of course he knows who he was. And full of jealousy, he threw this locket at the same moment into the fireplace. And at that moment, both of them, the story, she says, there's depending on who's telling the story, it might be that they burst into flames themselves, or that their chains holding them burst into flames. But whatever happened, they both at the same time were freed from their bonds. And those who saw it fled in fear. And the story goes that the two of them hunt through the house to this very day, looking for those who separated them, and destined never to cross each other's paths until every single one of them is killed. And the rumors are that it's a shame we're not in the library, she says suddenly, because I could show you a painting of Herman. He has an eye patch. Yes. She takes the beer and has a quick swallow. She says, but the one thing is that everyone agrees on is that they both have lancettas that flame, that are on fire. So you can see why when you say that Litha saw a boggart with a eye patch and a flaming lancetta, it must be somebody trying to make people think that Herman the ghost, this made up story, this tall tale is out for his revenge. It's clearly a boggart who has some sort of a grudge with a fairy, and to cover his tracks has probably put on an eye patch and doused a lancetta with some sort of fuel and set it on fire. A simple parlor trick. Well, that's the story anyway.
Yeah, well, perhaps. Yeah, well, interesting story and phenomenal lancetta, I would say. Yeah, well.
She
That's
takes
the
a
point where
deep,
Humphrey
deep
bursts
swig.
into the room. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yep. Just as Humphrey bursts into the room, she's taking a big swig, and her cheeks are very red now, as well.
I suppose he can jump very far.
Oh,
Oh,
well, there's nothing in the story about
Humphrey.
that. I've heard about that. No. But who knows? These tales, you can say whatever you like. You can say that he sprouts wings like a fairy when it suits him, and he can fly. Why not?
No, I saw a single footprint, like in a flower bed in a garden.
oh.
And nothing else, next to the wall. And this
But you-
explains why he went over the wall.
Huh?
Santiago,
Yeah,
the wall in the alley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Very exciting. A
So-
legend, finding and hunting and winning over this H. Bogart Herman. Yeah, in a
What?
duel. That would be great.
What, Herman? What do you know?
You've definitely heard the
Let's go,
story of
we-
Herman. Your parents would have told you
Yeah.
the story.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What?
Because
And
this is a
like-
story of like a boggart, like
Yeah.
wooing like the most beautiful fairy in the
Yeah,
land.
sure.
So it's like for boggarts,
Yeah.
it's like a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, look at Santiago. So.
But you maybe it's a bit too close to home for you, the story too,
Oh.
perhaps.
Yeah, I would go with the jumping thing, actually.
And just at that moment,
Yeah.
Litha re-enters the room
Yeah.
with.
Oh, Lisa
New
wasn't there all
clothes.
the time. Okay. I'm sorry.
No.
No.
Okay.
Yes,
Oh,
but-
okay.
She's been scrubbing blood off of her hands in a wash
Yeah.
basin. Yeah.
She's kind of coming. Okay. Oh, you're already there. Well, what did I miss?
Humphrey is like with both his hands on the table. I believe in the jumping thing.
The
Yes, the
jumping,
jumping
thing.
thing.
What is
Not the
the
flaming.
other
And-
thing?
There's a story.
He can
Gwen just
jump.
told me about a boggart and a fairy and young love that is denied, and then a flaming lancettas.
Herman.
Yes.
Okay. Right
Gwen
there
says,
with the
"Oh,
jumping thing.
you've heard the story." Gwen says.
Yeah, I've grown up here. I mean, like not in Chesterfield, but in
Oh,
Boggart land. So yeah, I heard of it.
Oh.
Well, apparently the murderer was dressed up like Herman. Did you see him?
Well, that would be a ruse, probably. Yeah, I did. So
Did you think he looked like Herman?
did I think he looked like Herman? Did I? Now that she says it, do pieces fall into place?
Yeah, I mean, if you think of the stories you were told, then he kind of looks like what people said. The flaming lancetta is. You didn't see the
Sure.
flame? Oh no, you did. You and Santiago saw
I
the
did.
flames, but Humphrey didn't.
Mhm.
Well, you saw a lick of flame for a moment. Yeah.
Mm.
It wasn't like a D&D flaming sword. It was a slight wisp as he'd whacked himself against the wall. And he whacked against the wall very much like a solid person too, not like a
Yeah.
not
Well,
like
I guess
a specter. That can
if he
float over
wanted
walls.
to do this, it was more of a ruse than anything. So I feel like this was a very real person.
But could he?
Yeah, of course, he stabbed someone.
Yeah, and he crashed into a wall.
Well, I have seen people dress up as Herman for Samhain, where it's quite a ways from now. It's February now, Samhain's in November, but I've seen people dress up like Herman and Estelle, and they, go around traveling from house to house to plunder their neighbors, as children do.
Never meeting then?
Well,
Never meeting?
I have seen Herman and Estelle kissing passionately in an alley once. It was disgusting. So they're not historically accurate. They're not always historically accurate. It's disgraceful.
Law shaming Gwen. Law shaming Gwen einfach.
That sounds spicy. Yeah. Well,
No,
it was
historically
except that
inaccurate. You don't understand.
But sometimes
this
young
was a
lovers
story.
need something, to spice up their.
Well, then she shouldn't have been
romance, I
dressed
heard.
as Estelle, or he shouldn't have been dressed as Herman.
Could we please
Anyway.
come back to the topic? I think he left town. And he can jump very high. Miss Summers, is this possible?
Well, if he was a sylph, then yes, of course, he could have
But he
leapt
wasn't.
quickly.
He was a boggart.
Well, how do you know? He could have been wearing a disguise. It could have been a sylph in disguise. That's what I think probably is the case.
Okay, you know about all the contracts. So, I think, are you ready? Let's head out again. It's
What-
night's breaking in and we have not much time before it's completely dark.
I did not come out tonight for an adventure. I'm not dressed for adventure. I've got my...
Ah, shame for you, Miss Summers. What about the others?
have
Let's
got my
get
boots
this
on.
guy.
When you could follow a ghost story.
No. You have...
You could discover
No,
a myth.
It's not a myth. It's a ruse.
You could see again two people passionately kissing in an alleyway, probably.
Oh, you can paint.
She goes. Her cheeks were red. She's like the red is now creeping up her neck to join her cheeks. If I wanted that, I've got plenty of books I could read. Trust me. I don't want to see it.
You have books with that kind of stuff in.
You enjoy yourselves.
Just
I'm going
reading.
back. I'm going back to my studies, and she pushes herself up, swaying slightly.
When the map.
Yes.
Yes. Have you found something more? Is there perhaps a way to find the treasure or the
Treasure.
tomb?
I think it's a tomb. Treasure.
The tomb. It could be,
I am trying to find the whereabouts of one of the greatest littlings the house has ever known, and all you can think about is treasure. What is the matter with you, Santiago?
And think about the guy jumping over the wall.
She shakes her
Okay,
head.
Santiago.
Don't have any
She
time.
shakes her head like in consternation and kind of like loses her footing a bit. She's had three pints now.
Yeah.
She's a little bit
Gwen,
unsteady.
you should perhaps sit down a bit in before you just fall over.
No, I'm going back to the university. I'm going back to my
yeah.
studies.
Good
This
sleep. But
evening.
yeah, nice
Smart
to
meet
meet
Good
you.
luck finding Herman. I sincerely hope you find Herman, and yes, good luck with that.
It's a nice story. Two people of
It's
different
a very
families.
nice
meeting.
story.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. hmm You see,
So
like
you-
Lisa getting uncomfortable at the topic,
Yeah.
kind of,
I'm
and it's
free
like,
also. Even more urgent.
I will roll just a couple of dice to see if I. Ah, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
so
let's go.
you want to go in pursuit. You want to exit stage left.
Oh, yeah.
In pursuit of
Yeah.
Herman.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Let-
Now
if they
this,
really want to, Santiago follows.
I mean, there will be somebody
Absolutely.
there will be somebody at the city gates. I mean, Humphrey has been passing in and out with his hunting recently. Litha won't probably have any issues, but Santiago might have a problem as
Yeah.
a slua leaving at the moment. Considering the wanted signs have only gone up like a day ago, maybe
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Hey guys, should I really be passing through the gates at the moment, or should I just wait a bit?
We have to go now if you want to catch him anyhow.
Yeah, well, that doesn't really help my problem.
Do we have a secret passage, maybe?
I don't. Do you guys?
Because I'm pretty sure that guy also didn't go the official way, or did he?
Can you jump real high, Santiago?
Downwards, yes. Upwards, no.
Let's see.
Yeah, you're really good at falling gracefully. Yeah.
Yes. Coming down from the walls is no problem, but up them is gonna be a problem.
Yeah, well, what about climbing? We've done that before.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh,
I mean, there is a
walls around the city,
distraction.
right?
There is a distraction happening right now. So
Yeah.
there
Okay,
will be
let's go and
guards.
see if we
There will be
come to-
guards at the gates,
And
but any other ones will
Humphrey
probably be.
still
Yeah.
still
Sorry.
has his blue scarf that is like a sign for the sheriff's agents. Maybe I could have nicked it while being. And I
Yeah.
could distract the any guard maybe, so you two could climb over the walls like that.
I mean, the scarves are kind of like the equivalent of a badge.
Yeah, I thought so. Like you're not officially, you're like a hired gun, like a conscripted.
Yeah, I mean,
Connor
I
to-
think that's
yeah.
quite a significant thing. Yeah. Maybe with a roll, we can see if you had managed to grab one, or maybe like a joker. Sorry, an ace potentially if you wanted to spend one. For
I will try and
straight.
roll.
Okay,
I will
it'd
try
probably
to
be sleight of hand, right? So
Dexterity.
dexterity probably. It's like the
Yeah,
stealth,
sure, let's do
the
this.
picking pockets and picking locks and stuff.
Yeah, this is critical.
Okay, I was gonna say
Wow.
because you're stealing from, effectively a badge from the
Yeah, it's a badge for the very low lives. Like, just you got something blue, you're probably with the sheriff. Yeah, but yeah, I got a
Yeah.
critical.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right. So yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great.
Okay. So you head to the wall, and there is a. Are you gonna try? Sorry, you're gonna try and distract a guard, so
Yeah.
that Santiago can slip through the gate, or so Santiago
is
can
this
scale
possible?
the. I
Scale
mean,
the
there's
wall, or is
probably.
that-
There's probably places where he could. There's probably even like ladders and stuff, or maybe like spiral staircases leading up, or something like a stairwell leading up to the top of the walls for the guards who patrol the walls. But they're mostly there's gonna be like it's gonna be like a skeleton crew right now as there's a fire. The gates will be manned. Let's say that there's a kind of a very steep set of stairs, roughly either carved in or made out of wood. Like, you know what I mean? Like a narrow set of stairs that have quite steep steps that go fairly quickly up to the top. And it's close to where the gate, one of the gates is. So yeah, I think you're gonna distract him with your scarf.
Yeah, I'm just asking about someone passing through, like boggart with an eye patch. Heard him being suspicious around here. Could have tried to leave the town. Everything but the fire and all, you know. and I just rumbled around like got a lancetta. Weird thing, huh? Do you see anything?
So
Did
if this
anyone
was
pass through the gate?
If this was
And I'll try
Warhammer,
to-
you'd be using the blather skill, kind of like talking
Yeah,
at
but
him
I
to
can't-
distract him. Yeah.
Yeah. I there's a lot of awkward silence involved in
Okay.
this battle, but yeah.
It's not very good at it.
Yeah, just staring until he
It's
answers, and
illusion.
when he doesn't answer,
Yeah.
What's illusion?
Illusion is definitely the skill for it. Yeah. It says that you can
Oh,
use
yeah,
it
that's kind of good.
Yeah, you'll need a critical to succeed
Right.
on this.
5 dice. So with street or with
Yeah, with street. It's kind of a
Society.
deception
fine.
thing. Yep.
Ah, okay.
This is very sad because I got a road
Nothing.
and I can't re-roll. Yeah. That's
So you didn't get a
absolutely
single basic.
nothing. Nope.
With 5 dice. Ouch.
Yep.
Ouch.
From 2 to 6, I got everything. So
I mean,
So
if you really, really wanted to, you could. You do have a spade, an ace of spades, but remember, you won't get that back until the end of the chapter. So if you spend it now, it's spent for quite a long time.
no.
Okay.
No.
Before you say no, have you got your rolls there in front of you still?
Yeah.
Was Letha helping you?
She would kind of walk up and look
Help.
official, like on official grounds. So if she realizes that that Humphrey is kind of struggling a bit, she will kind of approach too, and be looking a bit inquisitive at the guard, being like, "Hey, we are kind of
Okay. Sorry.
trying to get a contract on the guy, so."
Yeah.
Like filling the awkward pauses with something meaningful.
Okay.
Like...
So that I think in this instance the help is going to give you a +1. So keep the dice that you just rolled. Roll an additional 6 dice with it, and see if that would have made a match. Probably.
Yeah, I got a match. I got a basic, and then I would do a reroll.
Then you'll do a reroll with the other dice. Keep the
2 3s. Thank you so much, Rita. And
Mhm.
oh, it's a critical now. Fantastic.
Okay. All right.
Oh no, it's not. Oh, it's 2 basic successes basically.
Yeah. So it's unfortunately, 3 basic successes
Not
would be the
enough,
equivalent of a critical.
Ah.
I guess the question is, does Santiago risk it, or are you going to wait to see if it's kind of?
yeah, he risk it. Of course, he's gonna risk it. It's
All right.
Santiago we're talking about.
So that means there's going to be it is getting dark, right? He is slightly distracted, but not fully. He's still kind of like every now and then glancing around. So you're gonna have to make an illusion roll yourself to see if you can sneak past this guy and up the stairs, and you're gonna require also a critical success to be able to do this.
Okay. It's close. Did I need a? I have a critical. Is that
That's 3.
3 of
3
a
of a
kind?
kind.
Or
But
okay, do
Santiago,
I have a reroll? Yeah.
Rasmus,
You have to have-
also got you have an experience. You're the ghost below the sofa.
Oh,
so maybe
yes.
this is something
yeah.
you could invoke.
Could
can't
I
you?
invoke that and add 1 die then?
Yeah.
And
Keep
also,
the dice that you
we are
rolled.
basically helping.
Yeah.
Are we? At least a little bit.
Yeah. I have 3 5s
Yes.
now.
Yes. Roll 2 additional dice then.
Is that the
Roll 2
yeah,
additional
two
dice.
additional dice?
Yep. That's your experience and the
Oh.
help from the others.
Yeah. Okay. Then I have 4 5s.
4 of a kind.
Yes.
Okay, so this could be another experience for you potentially, because that's a very good roll.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The ghost
you kind of
dice again.
Like a spider.
you see you
Yeah.
kind of in your head you're like, Humphrey. If I wasn't so amazing, I would probably be caught. But this is child's play, and like a ghost, once again, you climb your way up the stairs very quickly, quietly, and make your way to the top of the tower. And I mean, it's city walls that are meant to keep people out, so there's not stairs on the other side. And the drop, like if you were to hang by your fingertips from the other side and then drop, you're looking at probably a fairly decent 4-meter drop, something like that. So I think we're probably gonna. If you would just want to just drop to the other side, we can definitely do that.
Yeah.
But I would give you a condition for it, the hurt condition.
Okay. Yeah. Or I would use one of my aces and use my bravado.
If you wanted to use an ace, remember you won't get the ace back until the start of the next chapter, and we're gonna have a whole other session.
It's much. How do I get conditions back?
I mean, there's going to be 3 months in between the end of this session and the start of the next one, so you won't be hurt at the start of the next. It's just a kind of.
It's more visually that I'm getting hurt. I'm dropping down and hurting myself on the way down.
Yeah.
That's more visually nice, I think.
Yeah.
Drops it. Oh.
It's a big drop. And
he
I know
tried to
it's
steal himself before the other guys come.
I would say to people watching as well, I am running a little bit loose and fast with the rules here. There probably are falling rules. I don't feel like looking them up. I think it just makes sense if you're dropping from such a height that you take an instant condition.
Yeah.
And we'll just keep moving the story along.
Limp on a bit and then try to look like I'm limping only a little bit, but I'm still hurting.
Yeah.
Gritting my teeth.
And one second, I just thought of something.
Yeah. How about getting hurt and my
Is there
powers?
like an endurance type of skill? I don't think there is. Is there?
Yeah.
Will, maybe?
It's more of a mental thing, isn't it? Resisting pain.
Incredible healing powers will make you.
This is specifically like a consume alcohol test. I'm thinking, but there isn't really one.
Yeah.
Because you've been drinking a fair amount, and there's a drunk condition as well.
Okay. Oh yeah. Should add that one as well then.
Well,
but I'm also a slua, so I'm kind of resistant to getting drunk and sickness, and I'm also healing quickly.
Oh yeah, to avoid suffering the power. Yeah. It says once per session you can avoid suffering the hurt. Oh, you can even avoid being hurt. Let's say you've used it. Let's say you've used it because it's just once per session. It doesn't cost anything. To avoid the drunk trait. Otherwise, you might have stumbled on the steps. So and maybe you're thinking about that. Like I've used all of my energy to sober up, and if I hadn't done that, then I wouldn't be hurting right now. But
I need to drink more.
Okay, so
I'm limping out in the shadows.
So you're kind of like talking to this guard, and in the end, he's kind of like you realize that Santiago has disappeared over the wall, and then you basically say, can we leave? And he lets you through. You kind of get him to promise to, if you're back within like the next 2 hours, which is when the shift will rotate and he'll no longer be guarding the gate. As long as you're back within 2 hours, he'll let you back in. But otherwise, you might need to stay outside the gates until the morning. Pretty standard in medieval sort of. This isn't medieval, but yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, so you all meet up. Humphrey takes you to where the wall was breached, and you have a little look around, and it's dark. It's hard to see. I'm not going to ask for a roll. You know exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for, footprints or something like that. And all three of you help, kind of going in almost like a half circle from the wall, like covering a lot of ground. And you don't see a single thing. You don't see a footprint or anything.
Do we want to put up to light our lights?
Well, you have somebody with you who can who can light up. Yeah.
I'm kind of just like, it's getting really dark. Do you see this?
Oh, yeah. Wow, cool.
Yeah. Do you see this? Okay.
Hey, yes. That's a neat trick.
Yeah. I can also do that with my nose and my feet.
Yeah.
And it's kind of lighting up both hands, and then I'm covering like a bit of placement where I can see.
Yeah. So you're kind of also like kind of walking, shining it on the ground. They're kind of walking with you to get a bit of light. But yeah, even with the light, you don't see anything.
Okay.
So, assuming he did leap over where the you saw one footprint in the garden. The rest of this is pure speculation, right? If he did manage to jump, then either he floated very lightly down and landed somewhere, or which is what if you're following Gwen's hypothesis, if he was a sylph, then they have the contract out of the draft, which allows them to float. theoretically could have done that. Although you saw his face, and the sylphs are. They have a very
tall,
like they have
very-
almost translucent skin. I think it said like they're very like I mean he would have to have a lot of makeup on. He would have had to have hidden his hair, have it like maybe slicked back. I mean not beyond the bounds of feasibility. Just yeah. From your glimpse of this person, you were convinced it was a Bogart. So.
But we are still below the sofa, or
Yep.
are we?
The sofa,
Pretty open.
like I'm imagining this. It's called Chesterfield, and a Chesterfield is a make of sofa, and I'm imagining one with these like big wooden legs that you could like a child could like hide underneath it. So, like fairly, you know, I have a sofa at home where you can't even get the Hoover underneath it. It's really annoying. It's like really close to the ground. But this is like one of those old-fashioned ones with the really tall, like wooden legs. I'm imagining, which is how you can put a city underneath it. Otherwise, it doesn't make much sense. Also, 2-story, littling ones, and which is why when there's a fire, as long as it's not raging out of control, it's not actually the flames aren't getting quite close enough to the sofa. So, theoretically,
Wow.
it's possible.
Well, Humphrey, do you think he just climbed up onto the sofa, or just
I'm
don't leave any
remembering-
tracks?
The distances from the flower bed to the roof, and from the roof to the wall. Is it possible that he could have jumped up that high?
You're asking me?
Yeah.
There's no way a Bogart would be able to jump that high. No.
Yeah, but if Bogart could jump as high just to jump on the rooftop and on the wall over the street, could he jump that high? No, right?
It's higher, like it didn't jump as high as the city wall in your
Okay.
like needed.
Yeah, he jumped
we're
from
assuming,
the
So no.
Oh,
Well,
Okay.
I'm guessing this is going to
assuming
be a.
we're making some big assumptions here. I'm just saying that from what you've seen, as making
much
the
all I
assumption
do.
that it's been one to the roof, then to the thing, then this would be higher. So
Yeah.
it is doesn't mean that maybe the person couldn't have jumped onto the wall straight away. They just maybe it's a bit easier to take a smaller jump first. I'm not
Jumping to
confirming nor
conclusions is what I
denying.
learned at the sheriff's. At the
Jumping to
sheriff's job.
conclusions. Ba-dum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't notice that. Very good.
Ah.
All right, so we're standing there a little bit of silly in the not so much dark, but in the dark.
Mhm.
Been dumbfounded.
Mhm.
Yeah. Says Humphrey and looks to the other
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, well,
So let's go in again if we can. Could I
yeah.
perhaps pass inside? That could be good for
Maybe
me.
jumped.
Yeah.
I want to check out one of the legs of the sofa, but yeah, just you do you.
Okay. It feels. Is the legs on the sofa a bit far away, or is it close by?
Yeah, probably not too super close, but like
It's
the
not-
close,
It's
the
not
closest
a half
one.
an hour walk.
Yeah, probably something like that, maybe.
Oh, okay. Half an hour.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's more. It's not like right next to you, so it'll be.
And it's not a job we have to find this guy.
No
Right,
one's. I mean,
guys?
no one's asked you to.
We were just interested.
Yeah.
You
and
want to
I'm
find the
getting-
burning Lancetta?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
Humphrey has no purpose in life right now,
I'm getting tired and
so-
bored, and my knees hurting. I feel like the interest is lost. I'm more interested in the story. Hey guys, can we go inside again? Find a good barn to sleep in.
Honestly, we probably should. I don't think this will lead anywhere. We don't even know if he really left.
But I kind of like the doing stuff together again.
Yeah. So
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
let's take a further look, just out from the sofa. Just let's leave the city's premises, and if we can find anything, maybe he jumped on from mushroom top to mushroom top. somehow.
Humphrey,
There
my
is
friend.
no
is,
mushroom here.
Is this
Okay.
just because you don't like to be in the city?
So who's gonna lead the investigation roll then?
Okay.
Not very good,
Doing
but
it.
not very good. But Humphrey has nothing else to do, and
I
he
think.
wants
Well, hold
to
on, hold
do
on. I
something.
think whoever has the highest investigation is basically because even though you're suggesting it, if they're agreeing with you, then whoever is the best investigation should lead the roll.
Had we
It's
agreed yet, Letha?
Oh, you're all kind of the same. You're all the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
We are
So
all
then
answers.
Humphrey, Humphrey.
It's not our-
It's a shame Gwen's not here.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't the Humphrey then can make a roll? You can get. Actually, I'm not sure if you're technically allowed to take like more than one help, but I'll let you take 2 additional help here.
Okay. On the other side, I have the bond hanging out with all the wrong people. This was mostly due to having associations with the Union and Duncan Rock's man, but obviously those 2 people are the wrong people because they don't want to go on a hunt with me. Nah.
I was mostly playing Santiago. He is bored now.
Yeah, he's like a cat, basically.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it really applies here, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're clutching
I
at
wanted to leave it
straws.
cheesy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to.
So 5 dice. Try and get as high as you
Okay,
can.
this is a basic success, so I would like to re-roll it.
Everything else, yeah.
2 basic successes. Sad, but yeah.
You spend a good, however long, half an hour maybe, additional.
Could
You
be
don't
an
find
hour 'cause
anything,
Humphrey's manic, but-
and eventually Santiago is just pestering to go back in so much.
Yeah, Lisa is kind of opening a bag of cookies to to Humphrey and is like, "Do you want a treat?"
No, I want. There has to be somewhere here, and I just
But you were good. You did good. Come. Take a seat.
just Humphrey's
It's like you're good
flashing
boy.
red, but ignoring her. Indeed. Yeah. And I think you other 2 get bored or frustrated, and
I
then
just
Humphrey
sit
will
down
just-
and begin to stuff my face because this is not leading anywhere.
Yeah, this is not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Humphrey, you can stay out all night if you want to, but I'm going back.
yeah, I think this is the point where maybe Letha leaves too, and then Humphrey just trots behind them, grumbling into himself and kicking some debris.
Should Santiago kind of climb over the wall again? Because
Yeah, I was gonna just
Why?
ask how are you gonna
I'm a new Slua coming to the city. I have not been here before.
yeah,
Or
I mean, you did come into the city.
yeah.
oh, they have records of that, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
Records,
maybe
yes.
this is a different gate. This is a different gate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it will
you-
probably eventually come back to be like, oh, you entered the city twice, but you didn't leave.
Yeah.
That might quite squarely put you into their crosshairs.
Oh, that's not good. Do I need to climb again? Okay, I'll climb.
But you can say Winfrey was the guard when you re-entered, when you left, and this guy is fired and incompetent. So
But he's already fired, so that
Yeah.
won't work.
yeah, but you
okay,
left
is-
2 days ago.
Is it
probably.
possible to climb?
Yeah, it's a
At all.
war plus athletics. Unfortunately, you're hurt, which gives you a
Yeah.
-1 in war. So, and you've used your
But-
experience already about being a
Yeah.
a ghost mouse.
So I have 4. Nice. Well, I'll try climbing first. if
Hold
that's
on,
possible.
you
Yep. Can I get
do
some
have
help?
the acrobatic trait.
Yes.
Which is
Free reroll.
performing acrobatics. I mean, it's not. I mean, acrobatics isn't really athletics necessarily.
No.
I don't think it really
I
applies here,
agree.
unfortunately.
No.
No.
I'll try. Could I get a foot or a leg up from someone or no?
Yeah,
I'll just try.
Yeah, sure.
you can get a help. You can get a help dice. 1 help dice. I
Is that
think makes sense.
1 dice?
Yeah.
Humphrey will probably help because he's stronger.
Yeah, Humphrey helps, but begrudgingly.
2 basics. Is that good enough?
Nope.
Nope.
Reroll. You got to keep one of them.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a critical. So
yeah, I'll reroll, and yes, I got a critical.
Okay. So you just, I mean, that's kind of like you needed. You got basically exactly what you needed, but you almost didn't do it because you did hurt your, like, maybe your knee.
Yeah.
You kind of your knee's a bit hurt or something from you landed not ideally. But the two of you notice him just slip over the wall as you reapproach the gate, and it's been about an hour and a half, so you're still within the 2-hour window, or like an hour or something like that. So the guard's still there, and as he lets you back in, you notice that in the distance there are some torches approaching the gate, and you kind of distract. We're not going to make another roll, but you kind of distract the guard as Santiago slips back down and disappears behind a house. You came back just in time as the guards are coming back onto the to man the walls because the fire has been put out. And there are more people kind of slowly, like, they're all kind of talking to each other, kind of excited, like, oh, there was a fire and another fire and nobody knows who did it. You kind of hear them kind of talking about it. Nobody really knows who started the fire. There was some talk about someone was talking about a flaming sword, and they're kind of like, it was some drunk was like raving about someone with a flaming sword, but they're very quick to dismiss him. But yeah, I think looking at the time, we're basically dead on the 3-hour mark. So I kind of want to try and put a little bow around this episode if we can.
Yeah. A little bit of character play, maybe.
Sure.
The end,
yeah.
So tie up some loose ends. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When you start with those two, I'm gonna need a short break for myself.
Sure. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the way, back, kind of Humphrey gets elbowed again. It's like, cookie. I know you like cookies.
Yeah. Thank you. And then awkward silence. A little bit of munching a cookie.
Does Letha pat Humphrey on the shoulder?
Ah, shoulder patted. Ah, very good.
It's not half as awkward. Like hers goes a lot more smoothly, and
it's much more.
It's more like she's like more empathetic and giving you a kind of a reassuring squeeze in the end.
Aw, yeah. And
I know this evening did not go the way you wanted.
yeah, seldom does. But to be fair, things getting better when we reach Chesterfield at last. This was fun. So not.
It was.
I don't mean like walking through the dark, but the whole prison stuff. This was good times.
If you ever feel like crying into a mouse, we got one.
Snotty, was it?
Yeah. If that's okay, I mean, it was just,
I'd like to see the old buddy again.
Okay, grab a drink, visit Snotty.
Sure, why not?
Grab a drink with Snotty.
Have a drink with Snotty.
The mouse is drinking us all on the table. Yeah. And there's some awkward silence by walking back a few meters, a few tiny meters, of course. And when thinking lately, looking for a job, maybe Thinking about joining one of the dens. Been scuttling around outside of the walls. Tracking. Found the trails of a lone rat. Old one. Probably survived long enough in the wilds on its own. To be real. To be something, you know. Could have been worth it.
You really want to join one of the dens?
Good for business.
That's true. I kind of, honestly, because they didn't want me because of my name, I feel a bit resentful towards them, but still.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
They haughty bastards. But there's a name, and there's good payment. You know, I wanted to join one of the dens. I mean, yeah, of course you know, but now it's just keeping afloat. And those are the best chances.
But also,
So anyway.
Yeah, I know. But you have a contract with Gwen, right? Still?
Yeah, but you know Gwen. She's taking her time. And she's not paying precisely in any way.
Yeah, that's true. So you are you asking if I want to join a hunt? Is that the question here?
Would be easier if we were to. Would be safer. Would be better for the both of us. And I mean, you're looking for a job opportunity, I suppose.
Probably. It's not like I'm very much employed currently. I'm also a bit of bad luck, so we should maybe bring Santiago too. I think like things go better when we three do things together.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And he's always up for an adventure. And maybe he gets something for his hat. Right, Santiago?
I'm getting Santiago is walking like 40 little meters behind, limping a bit.
Oh no.
What was that? Yeah, I'm coming.
We were contemplating beer and
Oh yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah. Hey, you look like you had a good talk.
The talk was also concerning you.
Okay.
Yeah, Humphrey feels a little bit not so happy that Santiago joins the conversation because he probably wanted to ask something else.
Oh,
but
no.
no, it's okay.
Oh.
So
Interrupting.
Yeah, it's good.
Socially, it's just socially awkward in every way.
He's socially awkward. He's so super socially awkward. Unlike he. Huh?
Yeah. Did you want me to join on something, kind of an adventure, hunting one-eyed boggarts?
We were talking about a rat, but one-eyed boggart is gone. Yeah, we could.
Probably the same.
Humphrey shoots a glare to you. I know a rat when I see one.
Did you see the rat, though? You just following its tracks?
Yeah.
I see a rat when I know a rat by their shit.
I know a rat by the taste of their shit.
God.
It's going a little bit too far, though.
She goes like,
Santiago
let's
walks
nose
up,
light up.
between you guys at least, so and puts an arm around Humphrey's shoulder and pulls him in, and puts an arm around Letha's shoulder and pulls her in. Let's go for an adventure, but first a beer.
Yeah, and then to Snotty.
Yeah.
And then, we decided we want to drink it with Snotty.
I'm always up to drinking with a mouse.
Okay.
Who's buying?
Well, me.
Grand.
Okay. And as the three of you walk, deeper into the city, the camera pans back and looks over the city skyline with a slight bit of smoke still trickling from one corner off to the side. And we're gonna end the session there. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Was that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I had a bunch of different little plot threads ready to go, and this I only needed to provide one.
Oh yeah.
That's
I
good.
was like,
did the rest,
quite some
as always.
foreshadowing. Yeah.
We are easy to lure in.
Pardon?
All right.
We're easy to lure in. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
find this
Yes,
interesting.
always.
Yes, we find this interesting.
I'm reminded of GMing my first investigative game that I did, and I remember reading online some advice about red herrings, that you should have a red herring, but I can't remember exactly what the advice was. But I put a red herring in, and that basically destroyed the campaign because the players just were like, "Oh, that must be important." Boom, and it's like, oh man, how am I gonna do this? Like, I can't tell them it's a red herring because it destroys I don't remember what I did in the end, but it was. I remember stressing a lot about it afterwards. And anyway, not that this is red herring necessarily. It just reminds me of if you drop a little something interesting that's a bit out of the ordinary, then players will always be grab onto it. So, yeah.
But to be fair, the special eye patch burning Lancetta guy was quite a hook. So
yeah,
that's not something you see every day.
Yeah.
So it was
it's a bit of something different. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, and
also a really cool way to introduce a story from the society and from history. I like that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
bit
really
of
nice.
mythology, which is always nice.
Yeah.
I
I hope they come and play later on.
And also a poke at some of the characters.
Just a little.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for watching as well. If you liked the show, then give us a like and drop us a comment if you have any questions, or let us know what you liked, especially about this episode, if there was anything you liked, or if there's any room for improvement on anything we can do. I know somebody mentioned in the last episode about seeing the dice as they're rolled, but it's kind of a bit difficult. We're trying to avoid virtual tabletops with this because although I'm a big lover of Foundry in particular and use virtual tabletops quite a bit, they can distract from theater of the mind and more narrative games. And I kind of like the vibe we have going here right now. And just we're all rolling. Well, I'm not rolling because it's a player-facing game, but when the players all rolling dice and they're using fixed cameras, it's kind of hard to show what they're rolling. So unfortunately, it's not going to work out. I did have a think about how we might be able to change that. We could use Discord to roll, but it really slows, in my experience, it does slow things down quite a bit, and it does kind of pull people out of the moment. And it's just, while I totally get wanting people to see how the dice mechanics work a little bit more, I don't think we're going to do it. So, just to address that comment.
But we could go through several steps of it, like really mentioning the attributes and how the dice pool
I'm
comes
trying
together.
to do that to a certain
do it
extent. Yeah. I mean, I could, what I didn't do this episode,
time.
I didn't really show the character sheets as we were building the dice pools. I have done that in previous episodes. Because this is the third session now, I thought, well, people kind of understand what it is. I am mentioning the number of dice that you're rolling. I wasn't necessarily saying well, your academia is so much. We could do that a little bit more. That's true.
I would say
So
for
maybe
this
that would be helpful.
this session that was a bit more, relaxed and character focused. I think that was a good choice. But when it gets more important roles, I think that could be a good thing to.
I will say, get your,
transparent.
make sure you've got your adventuring boots on for the next session, because we're jumping back into the saga proper in the next session, and there will be more. I don't want to spoil anything. It's going to be a little bit more fast paced. Let's just say it that way. So yeah, if you have an opinion on this, if you like that we're kind of just describing, how many dice are being rolled and not really going into why, did you like the fact that I'm not showing the character sheets? Do you like seeing the character sheets being brought onto the screen when they're when the roll's being made? I can try and do that a bit more in the next session. So just drop us a comment, in the video and let us know what you think. And I can happily do it either way. It's just, for me, it's there's kind of an immersion thing here to a certain extent. And I think when you start seeing, as an audience, if you start seeing like the character sheets flashing up all the time, it does kind of pull away from the immersion to a certain extent. Although we're talking about rolling dice to do something, it's kind of breaks immersion anyway, right? But yeah, let us know what you think, and I'll stop blathering and end the video here. So thanks again, everybody, for watching, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks' time. That's when we've scheduled the next one. So hopefully, if everyone's still is healthy, then we'll do it then. All right.
Probably.
Awkward pause.
Awkward pause.
Bye.
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 Fun. Have a
Great
good
for having
night.
you. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
So-